Wing Hockey. Tonight's game is brought to you by your Metro Detroit AMC Jeep Renault dealers, offering the all-new two-wheel, four-wheel, and front-wheel drive cars for 1981. And by Peschke and the Peschke Great American Premium line of meat products. And by Busch Beer. Remember, don't just reach for a beer, head for the mountains. Now, from ringside, here's Bruce Martin and Sid Abel.
And we say hi, everybody, from the Capitol Center here in Landover, Maryland. In just a moment or two, the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals meeting for the second time this season. And Sid Abel, the Detroit Red Wings, I think maybe have a little something to prove tonight. The fact that they have put together 4 very solid appearances in a row. And against this Washington Capital team, this could be one of the teams they have to catch if indeed they hope to make playoffs.
Well, Bruce, I expect the Wings to continue to play the way they have in the past 4 or 5 games. A little more defensive, where the wingmen come back and pick up their wings. I thought they played fairly well at times yesterday, but there were times, too, that they seemed to revert to their old form and played it wide open. They've got to be careful against this Capital team because the last time these two teams met in Detroit, there were 9 goals scored in the final period, 6 by Washington and 3 by Detroit, that wound up in a 7-7 tie. I'm sure that Wayne Maxner doesn't want that to happen.
Well, that was Wayne Maxner's first appearance behind the Detroit Red Wing bench, his first coaching job, and his team got out in front in that hockey game, 4-1 at the Joe Louis Arena, the 26th of November it was, not too very long ago. And then bang came the third period with Jimmy Rutherford in goal, and it certainly wasn't all his fault. But these Washington Capitals scored 6 times and the Red Wings 3, and the game ended in a 7-7 tie, and it took a late goal by George Lyle of Detroit actually to tie that hockey game. But the Wings, as you say, perhaps didn't put in as consistent a performance yesterday as we've seen them in the last 2-3 games, where they indeed came out with one of their biggest wins of the year, 7-3 over the Chicago Blackhawks. And we said at the conclusion of our radio broadcast yesterday, Sid, that Detroit perhaps played a much better hockey game the previous Thursday when they lost to the Los Angeles Kings by a score of 2-1. If they repeat either one of those performances tonight, I think they got another 2 points.
Well, I would think that, too. They are playing real good, Bruce, and they're playing against a club that's having a little trouble. They've lost 4 in a row, so they're trying to get out of a skid, and Detroit's trying to win their first game on the road.
Well, we'll see if they can do it as we'll be back with the opening face-off in just a moment.
It's a lonely kind of job, riding fences, but it's a job that's got to be done. So you get it done right. And then you head for the mountains. Push. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Push. Head for Busch beer. Head for the mountains. Head for...
We'd like to introduce the 1981 American Motors Concorde.
Pretty ain't enough anymore, mister.
You're right, but Concorde's more than just good looking. This luxury compact's made of the same stuff you are.
Huh?
Steel. Galvanized steel. Concorde's the only American car with galvanized steel in 100% of the exterior body panels.
But is it tough on gas?
Concorde beats Chevy Citation.
Mister, you might be onto something.
See the all-new 1981 AMCs at your Metro Detroit AMC Jeep dealer.
And as we return here to the Capitol Center in Landover, the Washington Capitals just making their appearance out onto the ice. And the Detroit Red Wings having been here for a moment or two, and we again tonight will be looking at Jules Gilbert, who has taken over the regular goaltending duties for the Red Wings. And Wayne Stephenson will be in the goal, Wayne Stevenson, if you will, for Washington tonight. Mike Palmatier with a slight injury, though he is the backup goaltender and will be available to his club if he is needed. Well, Sid, I thought it was kind of interesting, the fact that Max McNabb, an old friend of yours and the general manager of the Washington Capitals, said, do you realize, and I went back and thought about it too, that it was just about a year ago that Gary Green joined Washington as the youngest coach in the history of the National Hockey League. Just about a year ago, I think a year and a month ago, and he is now the 8th seniority in a 21-team league.
Well, it's hard to believe the changeover in coaches, and that just shows how treacherous this hockey team or hockey can be.
Game. Well, you look at Jules Gilbert, and he's turned in some outstanding performances in recent hockey games. Barry Miller standing there talking with him. The Wings remain without the services of Peter Mahavlich, who suffered a very badly cut elbow. did not play in yesterday afternoon's game and will be sitting out here again tonight. Matter of fact, didn't make the trip.
And Brent Peterson,
Peterson,
is
of
back
course.
at home, of course, with his serious leg injury.
Washington Capitals have been a team hurt by injuries throughout the latter, I'm going to say 2-3 weeks.
Yes,
They've been,
defensemen especially.
yes. And now, prior to the start of this hockey game between the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals, the playing and the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flag upon bursting air, yet drove through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals getting set to get this hockey game underway. And as Sid mentioned, the Wings still looking for their first victory of the season away from home. They have played 16 games, 2 of them tie hockey games, 14 of them in the loss column. And oddly enough, 2 of the toughest teams in the league were the 2 ties at Buffalo and at Minnesota. So Jules Gilbert adjusts the mask and gets set to get this game underway. The referee for the hockey game, Brian Lewis, calling the 2 teams to attention is Jim Korn, back with his goaltender for the Wings. That's Brian Lewis, the referee at center ice, with his 2 linesmen, Mark Fair and Ray Scapanella. And this hockey game about to get underway. The Red Wings will start it with Mark Curtin at center ice, and he's in against Rolf Edberg of Washington, and Curtin won the faceoff. Puck bounced back to the Detroit blue line. Willie Huber hands it now to Jim Korn. At center ice, it skipped away from Curtin and dumped into the Detroit zone by Labre. Even Labre back along the blue line. They take it in along the boards. Hicks knocked his man to the ice, and Curtin dumped the puck down the ice. Coming back after it, number 5, Rick Green, but the goaltender, Stevenson, played it away from him, and he shot it over 2 lines offside. So that'll bring the face-off all the way back into the Washington zone off to the right of the Capitals net.
Good shot of Jimmy Korn coming up. Get ready. A player, Bruce, that I thought come back and played the way he did a lot of times last year, and I thought played probably the best game of hockey he's played all season, Willie Huber. And Willie Huber means an awful lot to this hockey club, because with that long reach of his, he can keep the play, break up plays at the blue line, and keep them hemmed in, and that's just what the Wings did yesterday in their game against Chicago.
Now we're going through that new rule of nobody knows for sure who you can change and when. The Wings sent a line out. The referee sent him back. Then he said, all right, you can come out.
And I think they waste more time on trying to figure out changes. There are several moves being made to speed up the game of hockey, and it just seems that the linesmen and referees at times decide that they're going to run things their way.
I think they're more mixed up than the rules.
Yes.
So the faceoff stays in the Washington zone. Curtin now, he's got Lyle and Polonich with him. Polonich heads right back to the bench. Hicks comes out to replace him. Now here's Kelly coming out, a long right side pass. Sean Pronovost, Dennis Marouk on the move over the Detroit line, knocked away from him by Korn. Now Curtin takes a Mel's pass into the Washington zone. He was checked there. Pat Ribble clears it ahead, and coming Dennis Marouk. Puck slides to the Detroit blue line. Jim Korn played it back into the Washington end, and Ribble has it again. Now Pat Ribble into the Detroit zone. Ribble digging in toward the corner. Number 12, Alan Hangsleben, hit his man, but Hicks came up with a puck. Curtin played it out to center ice. Marouk back after it. Dennis Marouk driving it right back into the Detroit zone. Hangsleben was moving after it. He and Willie Huber. The puck came loose. Fired right on the net. There's another shot knocked down out in front of the goal. And still it's loose out in front of the net. And finally, John Hamel, and he was dumped to the ice as he went in behind the goal. And there's going to be a penalty coming up to Washington. And the Wings are going to have a quick power play opportunity as Washington was dangerous.
I think Wes Jarvis, Wes Jarvis, I believe, is the one that pulled Jean Hamel down. Gilbert made quite a save, Bruce, and that scrambled right out in front of the net. Jean Hamel makes the play, goes around behind the net, and the player just reached out, pulled his feet, got caught. Wes Jarvis on a break. Washington were putting a lot of pressure on right at the time.
So Jarvis is off for tripping with the time of the penalty, 1 minute and 26 seconds. And Detroit's power play has Dale McCord and Reed Larson back at the points. Ogrodnik, Nedomansky, and Foligno up front. This is Reed Larson. The Wings had trouble with their power play yesterday, never really got it going, and it hurt them in the Los Angeles game. Nedomansky up the left side to John Ogrodnik. Now Ogrodnik right out in front, and Foligno was there and tipped it wide. Puck then all the way down the ice by Ryan Walter. Well, a good chance for Foligno. Now here's Reed Larson coming out. Larson carrying it out to center ice. Gustafson chasing him. It went to the line, and LeBray knocks it down there. He was checked by Larson, but that's Walter. Walter lost it, and Foligno was knocked to the ice as he cut over the line. In behind his own goal, LeBray, and LeBray fires it off the boards, and back down the ice it comes. 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the penalty. Gilbert played it over along the boards. They battled there for it. It came loose to Nedomansky. Ooh, he almost lost it out in front, but Dale McCord has it. Dale McCord trying to pull away from the check. He did. Here's McCord over the line. Played it back out. It bounced to center ice again, and Reed Larson controls it there. Didn't wait long enough as Nedomansky was slow coming back out on the opposite side, and the linesman Campanello declares it as a intentional offside and is going to bring the play all the way back into the Detroit end.
That's an unusual call for a linesman to make. Reed Larson did wait while two players got over, and I don't think he spotted Nedomansky in deeper, then finally carried it over the blue line. He had no idea that a player was trapped in that deep. Talking about the Wings power play, Bruce, when they skate and get in deep, they can make it look real good, take advantage of the players back at the point. But when they are not skating and all standing around in center ice, they really have their trouble.
Here's George Lyle playing it in behind his own goal. Jim Korn has it there. Detroit with the extra man for 45 seconds. Errol Thompson moving it out now to center ice. Thompson down the left wing, gave it there to Korn, back to Thompson, moving, and he scores! And the Red Wings have the power play goal, scored by Errol Thompson, and lead it 1-0.
And a beautiful play by Jim Korn. It was a little give and take. Thompson made the play just at crossing the blue line. Korn gives the puck up, and it's just perfect back to Thompson as he cuts through the crease. Stevenson made the save on that. I didn't realize that. Watching the replay, Stevenson actually handled the puck and put it right back to Thompson. And Errol's been in a little bit of a slump, so this goal is going to do him a world of good. I think it's his 10th of the season.
12, Errol Thompson. Assistant number 28, Reed Larson.
Oh, they called it Reed Larson, but it was Jim Korn.
Larson wasn't on the ice.
Jim Korn is the one that made the play to him.
So Errol Thompson gets the power play goal for Errol, his 10th goal on the season, and it's been a while coming, so he'll welcome that. Now with both teams at full strength, the play bounces back to the Washington blue line. Moving back after it, McTaggart. Tim McTaggart clearing it ahead. Hedberg cleared into the Detroit zone by Pronovo. Larson goes in after it, tapped it along the boards. That's Hicks' pass coming out now to Dale McCord. Hamel on the left side. Wings change on the move. McCord flipped the long shot. Hamel went in after it. Bounce with dribble out in front, Mike Foligno, but as he wound up to shoot, it's taken away by Jarvis. Now Wes Jarvis and Hangsleben. And Reed Larson's back to get that, but they whistle the play down.
Excuse me, Bruce. John Hamel is down on the ice. He has been hurt. He run into the, I think it was Ribble. Yes, a check along the boards, and he probably hurt his shoulder.
So we'll be back with more after we pause for this message.
The legendary Jeep vehicles. They've been transporting troops, delivering mail, weathering storms, and winning races longer than a lot of vehicles have even existed. Today's Jeep CJ is taking more kids to school, more couples out on the town, and more families to Paradise Lost than ever, and getting more miles per gallon than any four-wheeler built in America. 1981 Jeep CJ. The legend lives on. From Jeep Corporation of American Motors.
John Hamel helped to his feet by Lefty Wilson, but skating over to the Detroit bench under his own power, so I would think he'll be all right. It takes a pretty good shot to keep John Hamel away.
Yes, I was afraid, Bruce. I recall years ago, I injured my shoulder on a play very similar to that, where I actually shoulder to shoulder with a player, and I come out in the worst shape of the two. He did take a terrific hit by Ribble.
Now here's Reed Larson playing it into the corner. John Barrett, number 2. Banged in along the boards there, but it's dumped to center ice. Moving out with it, John Ogrodnik on the move. Here's with Walker in front of him. Ogrodnik fired the shot, and it went wide. Mike Foligno held it in, but his centering pass broken up by Howard Walker. Now Rick Green, number 5, being chased by McCourt. Plays it up the right side. Moving out with it is Vervegart. Dennis Vervegart to center ice. Cleared back into the Detroit zone, and Gilbert came out of the net and lifted it in the air. Slides it back into the Washington zone, not far enough for an icing, and Walker, who has just been called up from the minor leagues, goes in after it. His pass up the right side. Paul Woods took it away. Woods wrapped it back in. Woods, Netamansky, and LeBratton now, and Walker again goes digging after it, and the goaltender played it away from him and shot it up into the crowd. Well, that's twice he has taken it away from his own defenseman and created a face-off in the Washington end.
Now that shows lack of communication between the goaltender and his defenseman. Young Walker was called up because of injuries to their defense corps, the latest being Big Bouchard. Pierre Bouchard is going to be out for several weeks because of a knee injury.
So we look at the Washington bench, and now at Netamansky, who centers LeBratton and Paul Woods, Willie Huber, and Korn, the 2 Detroit defensemen. 1-0, the Wings lead. The power play goal by Concept of Korn. And that shot
Off the post. You could hear it ring up here.
Wings applying the pressure now in the Washington zone. Mike Gartner, number 11, trying to work it out. Couldn't do it, so LeBray turns it in behind his own net to Pat Ribble. Now Ribble. His pass bouncing back into the Detroit zone. Willie Huber back after it. Huber's pass knocked away by Walter. Covering up those. Netamansky up the left side. Korn played it now to Danny LeBratton. LeBratton bringing it out to center ice, being checked there by Gustafson. It came back to the center ice zone again. Korn played it back to the line. Cleared in by Washington. Jim Korn digging into the corner after it. Given a bump in along the boards by Mike Gartner. And the play will come out to the right of the Detroit goal, and we'll be back with more after we pause now for this.
The owner of a Jacobson Snowburst is very smart. It can throw snow up to 18 feet, and that means he can move a lot of snow fast. But once people see his Jake, they want to borrow it. So a Jacobson owner has to be more than smart.
Spotless, just like his driveway.
He has to be very clever.
Available at these fine stores.
Taggart, Jim McTaggart, right from the face-off, whistled a shot that Gilbert kicked up into the crowd. That's the first Washington shot of the game, and the Wings have had but one. That was Thompson's goal.
But the Wings have the shot of Huber's that went off the post that doesn't count as a shot, that really hit it dead on.
Face off to the right of the Detroit goal. The Wings, Reed Larson in behind his own net. Up on the left side to Jean Hamel. Now it's Hicks. Hicks' pass went off the skate of Curtin. Taken by Barrett, who dumps it back into the Washington end. Digging after it, McTaggart again. Looking around for it was Hicks. Hicks got it loose, played it in behind the goal. Marouk went in after it. Covering up there is Jean Hamel. It came back to the line. There's a shot by Barrett. And Stevenson grabbed that off. Now Rick Green in behind his own goal. Up the left side to Kelly. Kelly having trouble with the checking of Hicks. Played it now to Green. Rick Green being watched closely by Curtin. Retreats in behind his own goal. This is the big line for the Capitals. Dennis Marouk leading the way with Pronovo on one wing and Bob Kelly on the other. And again, the play into the Washington end offside, so they come out over the Capitals blue line. Mark Curtin has proven to be quite an acquisition thus far for Detroit.
He's an excellent skater and seems to have hockey sense. He moves in the right direction. Very good on the face-offs. I don't know, Bruce, if he'll score an awful lot of goals or not. But then again, that may come too. He's real young and getting his first real opportunity to play in the National League.
George Lyle wins the face-off. Now Earl Thompson hands it off to Willie Huber. Huber bounces it in behind the Washington goal. Ribble goes in after it. Playing it along on the right side. Hangsleben didn't get it out. Jim Korn held it in. Just dumped it into the corner again, so Ribble takes it there. Now Ribble up the right side to Hangsleben, coming out center ice. Hangsleben lost it there, moving in. Errol Thompson took it away from him. Drops it back for Willie Huber, and now Jim Korn. Here's Korn up the left wing to Errol Thompson. Thompson circling at center ice. Thompson sent it into the Washington zone. Capitals knocked it away, and they start back out with it. Edberg, a long shot. Gilbert deflected that to the corner. Jim Korn took a bump from Hangsleben, didn't get it out. They still scramble in the corner after it. Here's Willie Huber in behind his own goal. On the right side, that short pass knocked away from Polonich. Huber takes it again, and he bounces it back into the Washington zone. 1-0, the Wings lead. We are nearing the 7-minute mark of the first period. Perry Miller. Miller handed it there to Reed Larson. It came back to the Washington end with the Capitals back after it. This is Ribble again. Now Pat Ribble up the right side over the line. Trying to move in was Guy Chiron. Going into the corner, Mulvey. They battle after the puck there in behind the Detroit goal. Mulvey trying to center. It's taken away, and Foligno hands it up the right side to McCourt. Three of the Wings move. McCourt drove the long shot, deflecting wide. Here's Mike Foligno. Tried to put it out in front. He was checked by Rick Green. Green sends it up on the right side to Vervegart. His pass now to Mulvey. Paul Mulvey. He was tied up right there by Larson. Now it's picked up by Guy Chiron again. Chiron drove the shot, and Gilbert knocks that away. McCourt dumps it off on the left side. John Ogrodnik was double-teamed there, but Perry Miller came up with the puck. McCourt ahead now to Foligno. Ogrodnik following. Here's Mike Foligno dropping it back for Ogrodnik with a shot. He scores, and the Wings lead it 2-0. Pretty play.
Pretty play is right. Mike Foligno made a perfect backhand pass in the circle to Ogrodnik. And John Ogrodnik, I was mentioning yesterday on radio, Foligno just cuts around the outside of LeBray, and watch the little backhand pass right there back to Ogrodnik. He's right at the hash mark, and he buried it. Beautiful play and a beautiful shot by Ogrodnik. He just amazes me the way he can put the puck in the net when he gets his chances.
He leads the Red Wings in goals scored. That's his 14th on the season. McCourt, along with Foligno, draw the assists. So the Red Wings lead at 2-0 at 7:42. Time of the goal. Now the play back into the Detroit zone again. Gartner put it out in front. It came back to the line. With it there, McTaggart in behind the goal. Gartner trying to get it loose. Right out in front. They took the shot, and somehow Gilbert tipped it away. It ended up behind the goal.
And I don't know how he missed that one.
Touched it. He did get to it.
Yes, I think he did,
yes,
too.
Yes, he did.
It's just...
Well, it looked like sure goal. We'll be back with more after we pause for this.
The Roundup. It sounds like thunder and moves like lightning. And when it's over, you head for the mountains. Push. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Push.
Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountain. Head for...
Now the Washington Capitals moving out of their own zone with it. Brent Gustafson clearing it into the Detroit end. Gilbert in behind his own goal. Barrett up the right side. Dennis Polonich took a pretty good bump right there from McTaggart. Knocked away by Errol Thompson, and now Polonich. He's got Lyle with him. Two of them over the line, and Lyle went in over ahead of the play, offside.
Dennis Polonich, it's pretty hard to put him offside. He's one of the speedy little fellas, but George Lyle should have held up just a little bit, knowing that Polonich was being bothered as he gets near the blue line.
So it was Thompson from Korn on the power play at 2:51, and then Ogrodnik's 14th of the year. From Foligno and McCourt at 7:42. Errol Thompson's goal, his 10th. And you can see the shots on goal at 3 and 3. Gilbert made quite a move to get at that last shot, fired at in his direction by Washington. Here's LeBray. LeBray's pass to Kelly, and moving in too quickly that time was Pronovo. So they'll bring it back out over the Detroit blue line. Bob Kelly out of Philadelphia.
And I talked to Max McNabb about Bob Kelly. He said that he is a terrific team man, good for this young hockey club. He says in the room, he's talking all the time, helped them. He scored 11 goals for them. He wasn't figured to be a goal scorer, but
Dennis Marouk, the center man, has 22 on
well,
the season.
This is the line. Marouk, and Kelly and Pronovo, the two experienced players playing with Marouk. They're the line that is the most dangerous in the Washington club.
And that's the reason that Detroit's checking line of Curtin, Hicks, and Hamel is out against them. Puck driven into the Detroit end offside again. We're at the 9-minute mark now of the first period. Detroit leading it 2-0. The Red Wings return home tomorrow morning early to meet Edmonton in a game Tuesday at the Joe Louis Arena. Next Thursday night, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then the Wings hit the road for Colorado. It will be a while before our next telecast comes along, the early part of the month of January of 1981, if you will. Now Jim Korn trying to pull away from Mulvey's check. The puck bounced to the line into the Washington zone. That's Kelly trying to work away from Glenn Hicks. Kelly coming up the right side. Hicks gave him a bump, took the puck away from him. And his pass is broken up, and coming out with it now, Green. Green clears it ahead to Dennis Marouk into the Detroit zone. Marouk trying to work away from Korn, took the shot, went right through the goal crease. John Hamel. Hamel gave Green a bump. Puck comes out to Curtin. Here's Mark Curtin of Detroit leading a 3-man Detroit rush. Curtin goes into the Washington zone. LeBray sent him to the ice. In behind the goal goes LeBray. Now Hamel knocked it away from him. And the puck cleared out center ice, and coming back after it, Willie Huber. Hamel again was given a bump to the ice, knocked down into the Washington zone, so he was a little late coming out, and it's offside. Thursday night at 8 o'clock, the Detroit Pistons take to the court in a battle against the Milwaukee Bucks. It's live basketball coverage, and it's right here on TV 50. Washington Capitals got off to a great start this season. They were among the leading teams in the National Hockey League, but they've lost their last 4 and dropped below the 500 mark. Mike Foligno's pass broken up by Hangsleben, took that long shot, and actually that deflected right to Gilbert, and that goaltender stick sent it up into the crowd. There's John Barrett. What a pleasant surprise he's been for the Wings.
Yes, he has given them some toughness and some body checking back in the blue line. Is a very, very cautious player.
We'll have our regular feature, the Fan Forum, in our first intermission, and our 1-on-1 competition tonight will be Livonia and Oak Park. First intermission. Now the Wings trying to move out of their own zone. Didn't do it the first time, so Barrett lifts it out to center ice, knocked down with a high stick by Foligno. And when he plays it, the whistle will blow, and the play will come out over the Washington blue line. So again, with a pause in the action, and Detroit leading 2-0, we'll be back in a moment.
I'm walking into the kitchen, see? Now, open up the refrigerator door, and I look way in the back behind the mayonnaise. I spy me an icy bottle of Coke. Now pops it open. When that ice-cold Coke hits the back of my throat.
A Coke and a smile makes me feel good, makes me feel nice. Have a Coke and a smile.
That's the real thing.
Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel, our producer Toby Cunningham from here at the Capitol Center in Washington. The Detroit Red Wings lead the Washington Capitals 2-0 halfway through the first period. Now Dale McCourt has John Ogrodnik over the line, flipped a long shot wide. Mulvey went in along the boards. Mike Foligno took him there. They jam it, and the puck is held, and the face-off stays in the Washington end.
The Wings appear as though they're starting this hockey game, Bruce, pretty well the way they've played the last 4 games. They're skating well, picking up their checks. Can be just rough enough if they have to be.
Now it comes out center ice. Sharon cleared it into the Detroit zone, going back after it, Barrett. Barrett kicked it in behind the goal, took a bump from Mulvey, but still got it away to Reed Larson. Larson's pass didn't come out. Covering up, though, is Barrett. Now John Ogrodnik. Ogrodnik kicking away at it. It comes out center ice. Ogrodnik retrieves it, hands it off now to Dale McCourt. McCourt wound up for the shot, and that's knocked away by Stevenson. McCourt took it off the boards. Knocked away a second time by Mike Foligno. Foligno trying to work it to the point. It comes out to center ice, and Barrett hands it there to Reed Larson. Larson driving it back into the Washington end. Stevenson stopping it there for Ribble. Now Pat Ribble, former Atlanta Flame. Clears it out center ice. It bounced into the Detroit end. Number 9, Ryan Walder. Young captain of the Washington Capitals went in behind the goal, lost his stick there. Perry Miller drove it all the way back to the Washington blue line. McTaggart. McTaggart's pass now to Ribble. Ribble clearing it. Perry Miller knocked it down. Taken away, though, by Gustafson into the Detroit zone. And he's tied up, and here comes the first Detroit Red Wing penalty of the hockey game, and Washington trailing 2-0 will now have the extra man.
And surprising, it's going to be against Danny LeBratton. LeBratton got his arm, he got the stick hooked on the Washington player and just kept it there. Wasn't going to be a play that was going to be dangerous. Danny LeBratton doesn't get too many penalties. That was one of his fellow Swedes, I believe, that he
So LeBratton is off for hooking with 11:26, the time of the penalty. And Detroit leading 2-0 now faces the first Washington power play of the evening. Detroit with Dale McCord and Paul Woods as penalty killers, Barrett and Larson. Play to the left of Gilbert. That's Guy Chiron, number 15, who will go in against McCourt. Chiron won the draw. Here's Rick Green back at the blue line. Handed it off to Gustafson. Gustafson put it out in front. Chiron didn't get much of it, and it got by the point man Gustafson, and down the ice it goes. And 1:45 left in the Detroit penalty. Brent Gustafson in behind his own goal. Washington with the extra man as Gustafson feeds it up on the right side to Chiron. Back it comes to Rick Green. Green's pass went behind Gustafson, so Reed Larson played it ahead. Here's Paul Woods taking it in. Got a man in front, Dale McCourt, and the pass just failed to get through. Bouncing back out center ice. Paul Woods lost a glove, moves over to the Detroit bench. Here's Guy Chiron. He ran into the linesman, and the two of them went down heavily, and they whistled the play offside. Well, that was a pretty good check.
I was going to say that may have been the hardest check of the night, other than the one that Ribble and Hamill. And it's funny, Guy Chiron is a player that really knows pretty well where everybody is, but he just runs smack into the linesman standing along the boards.
We had a little talk with Guy before the game tonight. Always enjoyed him. He's a fine young man.
He really is. I had Guy when I was down in Kansas City. In fact, I acquired him from Detroit. He used to be Detroit's property.
Now it's Dennis Marouk playing it back toward his own blue line. Walker has it there. Now to Pat Ribble. Still with the extra man for a little more than a minute. Washington moves into the Detroit zone. Barrett goes in along the boards. It came off to the side of the net. They jam away at it, and Gilbert has grabbed onto it and holds it, with John Pronovo, number 22, right in on top of him. Exactly a minute left in Danny LeBratton's penalty.
This is a big play for Detroit to get over. There's a case right there where the puck was kicked behind, and it was got to be very, very dangerous. The player could have come out farther, out in front, but he elected to try to put it in from the side. Pronovo, an experienced hockey player, you think he would have tried to pull it around a little more. Tried to take the short route and come in on the short side. Gilbert beat him.
So the play stays still to the left of the Detroit goal. Dennis Polonich. No, I'm going to have to check myself. It's Mark Curtin who won the face-off, and Errol Thompson who bangs it out to center ice. Thompson and Curtin penalty killers now up front. Willie Huber took a whack at it, didn't get much of it, so Errol Thompson finishes it up and drives it into the Washington zone. Detroit leading 2-0, 40 seconds left in LeBratton's penalty. Puck skipping out to center ice. Pronovo has it there. Now Kelly into the Detroit zone, drops it back for Pronovo. Pronovo off the side of the net, tried to center it. That's broken up by Huber. And again, Errol Thompson will fire at the length of the ice. And the crowd getting a little impatient with the Capitals. Dennis Marouk, it bounced away from him, bounced over the stick of Paul Woods. Carried into the Detroit end by Kelly. Jim Korn took a swipe at it, played it back toward the blue line, and it skipped away from Howard Walker. Back into the Washington zone. 5 seconds left in the Detroit penalty. Ribble comes out to center ice. Capitals play broken up again by Paul Woods, carried in. There's a bouncing shot off to the side of the net. Korn took a whack at it. Danny LeBratton out of the penalty box, played it ahead. Dale McCourt couldn't work it out. Centering pass, Paul Woods tips it away. Here's McCourt picking it up. He's got LeBratton coming down the left side. Danny LeBratton had to chase into the corner after the pass. Mike Foligno tried to hold it in. Dennis Marouk went after it. Came back to the blue line. A quick shot by Larson went wide of the goal. LeBratton holding it in. Danny LeBratton in behind the net. Mike Foligno. Foligno checked right there by two of the Capitals. Marouk cleared it up the left side. Number 17, Wes Jarvis, playing it back to Marouk. Dennis Marouk dumping it into the Detroit zone as the teams go for the player change, and Reed Larson starts out. Larson dumps it out center ice. Defenseman Rick Green shoots it right back in. In behind the Detroit net. Gilbert up the left side for John Ogrodnik, and Ogrodnik just turned around, shot it down the ice. So there'll be an icing call as LeBray is back to touch it, and the play will come right back into the Detroit zone. So with the Wings leading 2-0, we'll be back in just a moment.
What's the Peschke difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, if you're talking about ham, you're talking about carefully selected lean and firm hams, just full of sweet smoke flavor, lean and firm. That's the quality difference. Great American brand hams from Peschke.
Peschke makes the difference that makes great American great.
Lean and firm great American brand hams from Peschke are available at all Great Scott supermarkets. Ask for them.
Well, you can see the sign with a Washington fan here giving them capital punishment, but at the moment the Capitals trail the Red Wings 2-0. Each team has but 4 shots on goal thus far, and we have played 14 minutes, 23 seconds of the first period. Lyle waved out of the face-off circle. Dennis Polonich came in and won the draw. Willie Huber dumped it to the line, but not out. Polonich intercepted the pass. Now Huber ahead to Thompson. Thompson's pass got by Lyle. Played deeper into his own zone. With it now is Green. Up the right side, Hangs Levin drove it off to the side of the Detroit goal. Gilbert plays it there. Jim Korn. Now Korn, a right side pass. Polonich handled it well, gave it ahead to Errol Thompson trying to cut through, and he failed to do it as the play was whistled down. I don't know but what he called a penalty.
Yes,
I think he did.
There's an elbowing penalty against
Hangs Levin. Oh, and Polonich too. The two of them are going.
Well, he's keeping things under control.
I actually didn't see it happen, but the referee didn't make much of a move with it. But the two of them go off, Hangs Levin and Polonich.
Detroit penalty on number 8, Dennis Polonich, 2 minutes for elbowing. Time of the penalty, 14:49. Capitals penalty on number 12, Alan Hanks-Levin, 2 minutes for slashing. Time of the penalty, 14:49.
So you can hear them, I'm sure. Hangs Levin for slashing, Polonich for elbowing at 14 minutes and 49 seconds. So each team short a man. Detroit with Paul Woods and Danny LeBratton now. Playing behind the Washington goal. Dumped along the boards. Barrett held it in at the blue line. Bounced it into the circle. That's Jim McTaggart going back after it. He was checked by LeBratton. Woods trying to get it loose. Paul Woods jabbing away at it. Dug away by Danny LeBratton. He tried to set up Reed Larson. Held in by Barrett. Barrett again fires it in behind the goal. Stevenson stops it there. McTaggart played it up the right side, and Vervegard starts out with Guy Charron. That's Charron at center ice. Carried over the line. Here's Guy Charron moving in, and Gilbert came out, cut the angle, and made the save on a good play by Washington's Guy Charron.
A very fine play. Charron got a little break in center ice. The puck bounced over Larson's stick to get Charron beyond the defenseman. And Gilbert came out, covered the angle. I would imagine Charron had nothing to shoot at when he finally decided to make his shot on net, but a good alert play by the goaltender, Jules Gilbert.
A minute and 24 seconds remaining in the penalties. Hangs Levin of Washington, Polonich of Detroit. 2-0 Detroit leads, 4:35 to play in the game. That's in reference to the goaltender. Now Ryan Walder. He is in against Dale McCourt. Circle off to the right of the Detroit goal. Puck went into the corner. Willie Huber went in, tied up Walder. They have the puck held there, and the face-off again stays in the Detroit end, off to the right of the Red Wing goal. Now we have 4.5 minutes to play. First period. John Ogrodnik, the other forward with McCourt, as each team remains short a man. Puck sent into the corner. Willie Huber played it the opposite side for Ogrodnik. Now John Ogrodnik drops it back for Jim Korn. Korn up the right side to Huber. Huber has Dale McCourt, and McCourt lost it right at the blue line. With it is Mike Gartner. Gartner trying to work away from Korn. Korn dumped the puck away from him. Now Jim Korn feeding it up the right side. Giving chase to it is Huber. Huber took it away, trying to work over the line. Gartner came back to stop him. Here's Ogrodnik getting it out in front, but it's dropped away from him and comes all the way back to the Detroit blue line with Jim Korn back after it. Korn's pass handled now by Ogrodnik. 38 seconds left in the penalties. Here's Dale McCourt onside and going in. And McCourt never got the shot away as Stevenson came out to meet him. That puck goes into the corner, and LeBray lifts it into the opposite corner. Going in after it, Rick Green back to LeBray. What a chance for Dale McCourt. Coming out now, the puck held in. Here's John Ogrodnik with it. And Ogrodnik couldn't pull away from LeBray. Wings have a couple of good breaks, but failing to capitalize on them. Coming right back, Yvonne LeBray. Playing it up the right side. Knocked away by Barrett. Back down the ice, Dale McCourt. McCourt has Hicks moving in with him, and Reed Larson. Here's Reed Larson. Larson handed it off to Hicks, and it went right by him. A pretty pass from Larson. Two of them going along the boards. And the play stopped as the Washington player LeBray is down in the corner, got up quickly and made the move at Hicks, and so everybody moves in as Hicks and LeBray having words. And now they are nose to nose and doing a little shoving, and Glenn Hicks is going after him and now moving into it. Hangsleben. But it's Hicks and LeBray, and boy, Hicks is up cookie when he gets
really
going. LeBray tried to get to him, so Hicks said, all right, let's go.
They run into a tiger. Hicks is not very big, but he will throw them. And LeBray, a big, supposedly a big, tough defenseman, but Hicks has just been up on him.
Hicks is down on top of him right now as LeBray and he go to the ice.
You know the bad story thing about this, Dale McCourt had a chance to really put this thing maybe away with in the clear on a beautiful play by Ogrodnik. And just when he went to shoot the puck, it seemed to bounce up over his stick, and he never got the shot away at all. I think he was probably undecided whether to shoot or to try and pull the goaltender. It seems as though he made a last-second move, and the puck bobbled on him, and he missed the net entirely.
So LeBray and Hicks will go in. Major penalties. You look at LeBray, I think he bit off a little more than he
expected.
Thought he had coming there.
Detroit penalty on number 22, Glenn Hicks. Capitals penalty on number 7, Ivan LeBray, 5 minutes each for fighting. Time of the penalty.
So the offsetting 5-minute major penalties for fighting. Well, we have 3 minutes, 3 seconds still to play here in the first period. 2-0 Detroit. And our first intermission, we'll have the fan forum where a Red Wing hockey fan has asked a question of a Detroit player or official in our 1-on-1 competition, Livonia and Oak Park. That's the first intermission of this hockey game. Teams remain at full strength, of course. This lose the services of LeBray and Hicks for the next 5 minutes, which will carry over into the second period. So Paul Woods comes out to play the right side. Here's Willie Huber with a shot, and he fired that wide. Trying to hold it in, Jim Korn. It came out center ice. Korn took a bump from Bob Kelly. Korn dumped his man. Puck sent back in. Here's Woods battling to hold it in. He did. Worked it out in front, and a shot right on. Knocked away. A big opportunity for Hamel. And a big save for Stevenson. Now Dennis Marouk. He and Paul Woods. Puck came back into the Detroit zone with Willie Huber back after it. Jim Korn bouncing it out center ice. Walker drove a bouncing shot right to Gilbert. Crowd getting on the Capitals. Puck came right out in front. It'll be held in. There's a shot knocked away in front of the goal, and Willie Huber rolls it all the way down the ice, and again there'll be an icing call against the Wings.
You know, those shots are very low. 6 for Detroit. No, 6 for Washington, 5 for Detroit. But Detroit have had several real golden opportunities to score goals. Right there between Curtin and Hamel, the puck was bouncing loose in front of the net. Stevenson had to make a big save. Dale McCourt, of course, missed the one that he bobbled. And Willie Huber hit the post dead on early in the period, so the Wings have had chances to increase their margin.
Detroit leads at 2-0. Goals by Earl Thompson and John Ogrodnik. Face off to the right of the Detroit net right now. That's Curtin in against Marouk. Curtin won the face-off. Barrett clears it ahead for Errol Thompson. Back it comes to Curtin. Mark Curtin, former Toronto player, drove it off to the side of the net, went digging in after it. Cleared in along the boards. Paul Woods kicked it loose. Marouk picked it up. His pass up the right wing comes all the way out center ice, and John Barrett has it there. Slapping away at it, Kelly. Here's a chance. Gartner drilled a shot and fired it over the top of the goal. Coming right back, Reed Larson leading a 3-man rush. Tangled up with Paul Woods, still got it over the line, took the shot, the save made by Stevenson. Mark Curtin put it right out in front. That's cleared to Marouk. And Marouk starts his team out with Gartner. Up the left side now is Kelly. And there'll be a penalty coming up as Barrett dumped the Washington player Gartner. On the delayed call, Stevenson goes to the bench for the extra attacker. So delayed penalty to Detroit, but Washington with the extra man right now is Ribble carried in, and he's stopped right there by Thompson. So Detroit, with 1:20 to go here in the first period, will be playing short.
Well, he had to call this penalty. Barrett just got his arms and everything wrapped around the player. Pulled him down on a play right out in front of the referee in center ice.
John Barrett, 2 minutes for holding.
Holding call to Barrett. Time of the penalty, 18 minutes and 40 seconds.
Bruce, we often talk about goaltenders and the fact that they do wear a lot of padding and that, but the way some of these young fellas can shoot a puck today, I don't think they wear enough. Young Gardner, he's just a second or third year pro. I don't think I've seen a shot harder all year, and it was up head high just over the net. If I were a goaltender, I'd be standing on the other side of the net, hoping that you wouldn't get hurt through the netting.
Sid, Jimmy Skinner, the affable director of player personnel, or I guess there's a better title than that for Jimmy, of the Detroit Red Wings, has asked us to pass along his very best wishes to Mr. and Mrs. Carlini, who are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, and fine Red Wing hockey fans. And Jimmy said, I really wish you'd say hello to them for me. Wish them our congratulations.
And are they from Windsor or from?
I believe from Windsor. Now here's the play with Guy Chiron handing it in behind Vervegart. Vervegart lost it there. McCourt didn't get it out. Vervegart held it in. Into the corner to Chiron. Back on the point it comes. It got by Gustafson and bounced out to center ice. Rick Green, director of hockey operations, Jimmy Skinner. Shot knocked away by Gilbert again, and Detroit bangs it back into the Washington end. 35 seconds left in the period. Washington with the extra man. Now it's handed off to Chiron again, making his way out center ice. Chiron sent it to the line, and it was Jim Korn, just picks it up, bounces it back into the Washington end, and the Capital fans getting on their team. 15 seconds left in the period. Green had to play it carefully out in front of his own goal. Now Gustafson heads out again. Gustafson playing it ahead over the line, moving in Gartner, and getting a piece of that, Gilbert. As he cut right through, a centering pass, and with Kelly spilled to the ice, the buzzer goes to end the period. So Gilbert turned in a couple of dandies.
Well, there was the biggest save of the period.
Take another look at it, sir.
Unbelievable. The Wings got caught in a play right up between both defensemen. He made the save on that. He just
kicked out the left
Mike Gartner, and he's one of their leading scorers.
So that's it. We have played one period of hockey from here at the Capitol Center in Washington with a score. The Detroit Red Wings 2 and Washington nothing, and we'll be back in a moment.
Listen, there's a lot to discover on 76 WJR.
Dave White, WJR News. Politicians on the move. Good news for local restaurant owners and...
At the 35, at the 30, at the 25, at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, and 5. Touchdown, Billy Sims.
Saturday morning, Bob Hines, WJR's Great Weekend.
Listen, there's a lot to discover on 76 WJR.
Little Caesars asked, are you paying for one pizza and only getting one pizza? And these days, the price of one medium pizza ranges from $4.15 to as high as $7.25.
$7. Take it or leave it.
But only Little Caesars gives you 2 medium pizzas for just $5.65. So you get the good food you want, and better still, you get all you want. Little Caesars. Where else could you get so much good food for so little money?
2 pizzas, 1 price? They must do it with mirrors.
Hey, here are some cool sounds coming at you on a sizzling summer day.
This is Fan Forum, a chance for Red Wing fans to ask the questions. Now, here's Al Blade.
Our guest tonight on Fan Forum is Dennis Davidson. Dennis, where are you from and what do you do for a living?
I'm from the beautiful city of Romulus, the garden spot of southwestern Wayne County, and I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation for the city.
Dennis, you've been with the Red Wings for quite a while, not only as a fan, but you work for us a little bit. Tell us about it.
Well, I've been this is my 6th season working up in the press box, and I'm what's called a game night assistant, I guess is what they refer to me as, and I mostly get the starting lineups out to the press and make sure that the radio and TV stations have them. And then after the puck is dropped, then I become Al Blade's gopher. Popcorn, beer, Cokes, whatever.
Dennis, you've seen a lot happen with the Red Wings over the last 6 seasons. Can you tell us what one thing may stick out in your mind?
Oh, I think Billy Lahead's goal beating Atlanta. I think that in the playoffs, I think that was the thing that really sticks out. It was the only year since I've been working for the club that that we went to the playoffs, and that was quite a thrill. And of course, I go back as a fan. I go back, of course, to the 50s and the last Stanley Cup year under Jimmy Skinner with Gordy and Alex and Ted and the rest of the guys.
Okay, Dennis, who do you have a question for tonight?
My question is for Billy Day. I'd like to ask of Billy what his job is when he pre-scouts a team on the road. What does he look for? And what is the basic difference between scouting a pro team versus a farm or junior club?
Okay, Dennis, my thanks to you, Dennis Davidson, along with Billy Dave. We'll be back during the next intermission.
Well, we are with you again from here at the Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland, where the Detroit Red Wings have taken a 2-0 lead over the Washington Capitals after one period of play. A period of hockey in which the Red Wings had but 6 shots in goal, and Washington 8 at Jules Gilbert. And of the 8 shots, I'd say at least half of them were good scoring opportunities, Sid.
Well, Jules Gilbert is playing a hot hand right now, and I believe that's why Wayne Maxner hasn't put young Luzinski in the net. Gilbert has just been unconscious for the last 4 or 5 games, and that makes a big difference. You know, the team plays with a lot of confidence when your goaltender makes big saves. I thought the Wings, though, did an excellent job at checking, Bruce. They kept that line of Kelly and Pronovo and Maruk just bottled up pretty well the entire period, and that seems to be the line you've got to stop. The others are more or less hit and miss, but that line is a dangerous line. It was a good period for the Wings, and I just hope they can go on and finally get us a win on the road.
Well, Sid, the Red Wings, we've talked at times about the defense, which has been lacking over, I'm going to say, the first 20 games of the season. Wayne Maxner's gone with really 5 defensemen, using Perry Miller as a swingman and pairing up regularly Barrett and Larson, and the 2 big guys, Huber and Jim Korn. And this, to me, has become rather effective in the last half a dozen games.
Well, it just appears, you know, when things start going a little better, Bruce, they all perk up. Huber, I thought last night played his best game. Jimmy Korn is playing good tonight. I thought Jimmy Korn early yesterday's game had trouble, but here tonight he looks real good. And of course, Larson has been, I think, their standout all season long. Harry Miller playing tonight without a helmet because of an injury he suffered yesterday, 10 stitches in the forehead.
Can't get the helmet on.
Can't get it on, and it's a surprising thing. Perry Miller means an awful lot to this hockey club, too, because he undermines players, and he's not scared to go in and mix it up. Very much like Jean Hamel up front. Jean Hamel, a converted defenseman to a forward, he runs into people and really lets them know that he's out there to play hockey, and if they're not careful, he'll just run right over them.
Sid, we've had 5 games for you to watch, a young fellow that came to the Red Wings in the Jimmy Rutherford trade. And when the trade was made, and I think my thinking perhaps was like a lot of other people's, when I had heard that Jimmy Rutherford had been traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Mark Curtin, and I waited for Mark Curtin and who? And it was just a 1-for-1 trade, and I kind of wondered about it. But what I've seen in the 4 or 5 games that Curtin has played, I'd have to say that I'm pleasantly surprised.
Well, I am, too. He's an excellent skater, Bruce. He seems to have good balance. He knows what to do when he's out there. I don't believe he'll score a lot of goals for Detroit, but he's one player that they can put out to take face-offs, kill penalties, and at the same time give them stability on a line like they're using him right now for a checking line. He's a pretty solid little hockey player, and there's only one way he's going to go, and that is get better, because he's getting his first real chance to play in the National League, and no doubt this is where he belongs and this is where he wants to stay.
And Sid, he directs traffic out there. You can see him actually making people move this way or move that way, and he's sort of quarterbacking the line when he's out there.
Well, that's what I like about him. He's only been here for 4 or 5 games, and he is right now taking charge. He turns around on the face-offs and tells players to move. In case he does win the draw, he wants them to be in a certain spot.
So at the moment, you think it might have been a pretty good move then?
Well, I think Jimmy Rutherford had to be traded. And Jimmy Rutherford was a personal friend of mine, Bruce, and yours. A wonderful, wonderful fellow. But there had been so much talk about Jimmy Rutherford for for years that he was going to go and he wasn't going to go. And I believe that for the good of the hockey club, they had to trade Jimmy Rutherford.
Okay, in just a moment or so, we're going to be watching our one-on-one competition for tonight's hockey telecast. We'll be back with that after we pause now for this.
The Renault Revolution has begun.
Renault 18i.
Introducing the front-wheel drive performance machine that matches BMW in acceleration, but beats its price by $4,000. The Bosch fuel-injected family sedan that beats the gas mileage of Toyota Celica. Renault 18i. At more dealers than any other European car.
Renault 18i.
Renault, more than just economy. At American Motors.
This is the day for flying. We'll send it to the sky. Don't let it fall now. Give it our all now. Gonna sail it high.
It's so hard, but when the hard part's through,
that's when we go for something easy
like A&W. Nothing so smooth
and easy
as A&W. Nothing so smooth
and easy
as A&W.
Tuesday, December 23rd, is free T-shirt night with the Red Wings. The first 6,000 youngsters 14 and under will receive a free T-shirt compliments of On TV and the Red Wings. That's Tuesday, December 23rd, Red Wings On TV T-shirt night.
This is one-on-one. Amateur athletes competing against each other head-to-head. Now, here's Bruce and Sid.
Well, Sid, this is our 8th intermission feature of one-on-one, and we have seen some pretty good young hockey players out of the southeastern Michigan area.
I would think that the Wings could be sitting in, taking a look at some of this and figuring out just what to do with the puck when they get the opportunity, because some of these kids have scored some beautiful goals.
We don't want to repeat ourselves too often, but for those of you who have not yet seen our one-on-one feature, very quickly the rules are that out of the young teams in and around the city of Detroit, we have chosen 20 to participate. They, in turn, have chosen their shooter and the goaltender, and so it's a shooter from one team opposing a goaltender from another. If the goaltender makes a save, that's a point. If indeed the shooter scores, that's a point. If the puck misses the net completely, we just say no points and we replay it all. We try again. So the winning teams go on to the next bracket, and tonight's contestants, the Livonia Knights. They'll have Keith Walk in goal, and John Nagel will be their shooter. And John is 14 years of age, and so is Keith. Now, that's getting a pretty good start in hockey,
Well,
something that didn't used to happen in Michigan.
That's right. Kids today are getting a chance to play from the time they're 6, 7 years old and play organized hockey, which is terrific.
Well, their opponents tonight, and dressed in Islander uniforms from Oak Park, the Islanders, Robert Wayman will be in goal, and John Goliski will be the shooter. And John is out there now getting set to move in on Keith Walk, and here's the first shot of tonight's contest. Oh, he pulled him completely out of position and slides it by, and he wears the number 9 proudly as Oak Park goes out in front 1-0. Now
John
in the white
Nagel.
jersey, John Nagel, and against
He's a
Robert
defenseman.
Wayman.
This boy's played a lot of hockey, scored a lot of goals, 30 goals and 40 assists last year.
But he didn't score on Wayman, and now it's a 2-0 lead.
And he was an all-state defenseman last year, folks.
Okay, moving in again. This is John Galiti, and he lifts it up and in.
This boy is not making any mistakes at all. He goes in.
Oak Park with a quick 3-0 lead, and this is how it happened. Here's the youngster, the captain of his team.
Well, he just went upstairs. The goaltender, Keith Walk, is not a very big boy. Galiti just goes up over his shoulder on both occasions.
John Nagel trying to get the Livonia Knights back into it now, moving in, took his shot, and he scores. He took his time that time, picked his spot, and fired it by.
Well, Robert Wayman went down and tried to cover the angle, and he went down on his hands and knees before the shooter shot the puck, and that's a no-no for goaltenders, and he just went up over his leg.
3-1, Oak Park leading Livonia. Moving in again now, this is Galiti, and coming out of the net.
Good little save by young Walk. He doesn't go get fooled for the move at all.
So what was a 3-0 lead is now 3-2. This again is Nagel moving in. Nagel was robbed a pretty move that time by the Islander goaltender Robert Wayman. He came out with that left hand and grabbed that.
And Wayman put that puck high enough, or Nagel did, but Wayman covered it.
Okay, Galiti's got to make the move right here, and he fired it over the top of the goal. No points at all there.
Oh, and he shot from well too far out. He could have gone in another 10 feet or so. When those goaltenders come drifting way out like that, you can't shoot from that far
If Walk
back.
makes the save here, his team wins, and a very weak shot fired by
And that counts
John
as a
Nagel
shot,
that
Bruce,
time. Sure it does, because the
the
save was
goaltender-
made, and that's all she wrote. That gives it a 5-2 victory for Oak Park, the Islanders, over the Livonia Knights. He just lost control of
Right,
this.
this is too bad. He'd have been better off if he hadn't tried to touch the puck again, because the puck, I think, would have missed the net, but he just tapped it enough to go to the goaltender.
If he'd have got to it, he should have shot it to the side, and it would have been no shot. But at any rate, it's a victory for the Oak Park Islanders, and they'll go on to quarterfinal action to be seen at a later date in one of our telecasts during the intermission period. And we'll be looking forward to more one-on-one action during our next hockey telecast.
This has been One-on-One, brought to you by your Metro AMC Jeep and Renault dealer. Come in for a test drive today.
The Renault revolution has begun.
Renault 18i.
Introducing the front-wheel drive performance machine that matches BMW in acceleration, but beats its price by $4,000. The Bosch fuel-injected family sedan that beats the gas mileage of Toyota Celica. Renault 18i. At more dealers than any other European car.
Renault 18i.
Renault, more than just economy. At American Motors.
The date, December the 11th through the 23rd. The place, the Light Guard Armory. The event, Toronto Leather Company's annual pre-Christmas warehouse sale with savings up to 50%. Imagine men's and ladies' leathers from only $49.99. Thousands of leather and sheepskin jackets and coats are marked down, up to 50%. This is the sale too big to hold in our stores. Save up to 50% at the Toronto Leather Company's incredible pre-Christmas warehouse sale at the Light Guard Armory. Now, you can order Red Wing souvenirs and gift items by mail. Choose from a wide variety of distinctive souvenirs. Over 200 items ranging from keychains to jerseys, T-shirts, pennants, hats, baseball caps, plus Red Wing jackets with crest in sizes to fit both boys and fathers. They're great for gift giving or for yourself. For a free brochure, call the Red Wings at 963-8400 or write Detroit Red Wings, 600 Civic Center Drive, Detroit 48226. Call 963-8400.
The Red Wings are now offering a great selection of books on hockey at a special holiday price of 3 for $10. There are books on goaltending, Bobby Orr, Jack Adams, and many, many more. Any 3 for $10 on sale at all Red Wing home games. Guests on Red Wing hockey receive a gift from Zales, the Diamond Store, a quartz watch from Seiko, who feature dress and sporty watches. Seiko, someday all watches will be made this way. Featured at Zales, the Diamond Store.
And so again this Sunday evening, just outside the nation's capital, we greet you as we get set for the second period of the game between the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals, as the Wings lead by a score of 2-0. Errol Thompson's 10th goal of the year and John Ogrodnik's 14th. Jim Korn and now George Lyle has been given an assist on Thompson's goal, and Polino and McCord assisting on Ogrodnik's. Thompson's a power play goal, and in that period, the Washington Capitals with 8 shots at Gilles Gilbert, and the Red Wings return 6, scoring on 2 of them against Wayne Stevenson in the Washington goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, our
Washington Capitals get quite an introduction as they skate out onto the ice, but not quite as good a reception from the crowd here. Out of town, an interesting score. Philadelphia Flyers are at home to the St. Louis Blues, who are taking themselves pretty seriously this season. Philadelphia jumped off to a 1-0 lead when Ben Wilson scored in the first period, but St. Louis came back for 3 goals. Mike Crombeen, Perry Turnbull, and Mike Crombeen again. And the Blues, after 1 period at Philadelphia, leading the Flyers 3-1.
And St. Louis look as though they're going to be there to be reckoned with. There's Wayne Maxner walking out to the players' bench, and he has done quite a job with this hockey club in a short time. One thing I have enjoyed, Bruce, is the fact that he has had his defensemen stand up at the blue line, knock people down, and he is making the forwards peel off and come back. And if the puck is thrown in the corner, quite often it's the forward that's back there first to get it, instead of the defenseman being just on his own and hoping that he can get there first.
Well, I think one thing Wayne Maxner has done, he's given the team confidence in themselves, and it's beginning to show. We'll tell you right now that you are watching Red Wing hockey at WKVD TV 50, your choice for sports in Detroit.
You know, at the end of the first period in yesterday afternoon's game against Chicago, the Wings had 16 shots in the first period. 8 of them were by defensemen, where they were feeding the puck back to the point. They didn't get that many opportunities here in the first period. They only had 6 shots. Only 2 of the 6 were by defensemen.
Glenn Hicks is back into the penalty box. He has 40 seconds of his carryover penalty time to be served. He went off for holding at 18:40 of the first period. And a great save by Gilbert as he kicked out that left skate just before the end of the period, prevented the Capitals from getting on the board. Now that's Ribble clearing it in behind the Detroit goal again, but he shot it in offside. So the play comes all the way back out to the center ice zone. Willie Huber. Vancouver and Buffalo tied 1-1 in their game. Well, maybe not. A moment ago it said 1-1.
No,
now it shows
1-0.
Buffalo leading 1-0.
Danny Gare scoring his 21st goal of the year.
Now Willie Huber drives it back into the Washington zone. Gustafson comes back after it. 20 seconds left in Hicks penalty time. Bent Gustafson ahead. It went off the skate of Sharon. He picked it up, cleared it back into the Detroit zone. Red Wing player Jim Korn hit on top of the head with a stick. Didn't really hurt him, but I think it shocked him a little bit. Willie Huber lost it there in the corner. Played back to the blue line. Gustafson with a shot. Gilbert got a piece of it. It ended up in the corner. Woods took a whack at it. Woods went to the ice, and they hold it there. Barrett, I'm sorry, I said Glenn Hicks. It was Barrett that was in the penalty box. Hicks had been off just before him, or still remains off for his fighting penalty, he and LeBray. Now the play back into the Detroit zone. Here's Mike Foligno. Gilbert played it away from him, knocked down by Gartner, so Foligno takes it a second time. Played it to the blue line, but Walker held it in. Pass knocked away by Huber. Here's Foligno. Mike Foligno really dumped at center ice. Good check by Walker. Here now Dale McCourt. McCourt dropped it back. Foligno was shoved off the puck there by Bob Kelly. Coming back, Gartner. Mike Gartner plays it now to Marouk. He shot it into behind the Detroit net. Gilbert up the left side. John Ogrodny kicked it loose to Barrett. It was Barrett who was serving the remainder of his penalty. Hicks is still in the penalty box. Puck was hit with a glove and a stick a little bit high. So they're going to bring the face-off out over the Detroit blue line. Dennis Marouk, 22 goals on the season.
You know, and he missed most of last year with injuries. He was a player that belonged to the old Cleveland franchise. I don't know whether Max McNabb made a trade to get him over here or not, but he's been very valuable to this hockey club, a real goal scorer. I recall when he was playing junior hockey, he was a terrific scorer in junior hockey.
Puck driven back into the Detroit end. That's Reed Larson, number 28. Clearing it up on the left side. John Hamel really bowled over by Marouk. There's a shot that went wide of the Detroit goal. Taken off the boards by Polonich. He bounced it out to center ice. Dennis Polonich is out on the right wing now, replacing Hicks, who is still in the penalty box. Here is Kelly back into the Detroit zone. Dropped it back. Marouk fanned on the shot. He was checked from behind. Coming out with it now, Polonich. Dennis Polonich's pass skipped away, slides back into the Washington end. Back after it, Walker. Howard Walker clearing it back out to Kelly at center ice. Now that puck bouncing high off the glass. Going in behind the net. John Hamel covered up, and they bump one another there. Puck loose. Reed Larson clears it ahead. Mark Curtin. Here's Curtin down the left side. Clearing it along the boards in behind the Washington net. And the Capitals will bring it back out. What's Jarvis? Jarvis ahead to Hangsleben. Puck came back to the line. There's a shot fired wide of the goal. Came back to the blue line. Lift up in the air. They battle in along the boards after it. Jim Korn holds it for the face-off, which will be to the left of the Detroit goal. And with a pause in the action and Detroit leading 2-0, we'll be back in just a moment.
We hope you're enjoying yourself tonight.
Little Caesars asks, are you paying for one pizza and only getting one pizza? Somehow it happens. When you buy one pizza, the last slice always goes wanting, no matter how much everyone wants it. But it won't happen at Little Caesars, because only Little Caesars has the famous pizza. So everyone gets the good food they want, made with Little Caesars' finest meats, cheeses, and flours. And better still, they get all they want. Little Caesars. Where else can you get so much good food for so little money? Pizza. It means never having to say you're hungry.
Good pizza.
Puck's rolling down into the Washington zone. Quickly back after it, McTaggart. Bumped in along the boards by Paul Woods. Woods kicked it into the corner, but going in is Jarvis. Now the Capitals move out. Edberg's pass broken up at the line by Errol Thompson. Ribble turned off the puck, turned around by George Lyle, and coming out with it now, Jim Korn. He played it too far out in front of Woods. Woods went after it, picked it up over the line. Here's Woods, was knocked away from him. Cleared to the blue line again. Errol Thompson knocked it down. Korn brings it to center ice. His pass, Lyle tips it back into the Washington zone, heads in after it. Here's George Lyle. He just missed the check from McTaggart. They bounce to the glass. Still bumping around in the corner. That puck, though, is still loose, and the Wings couldn't get to it. Edberg has it. Now Edberg drops it back for Ribble. Played into the Detroit zone. Jarvis goes in with Willie Huber. Two of them bump. Edberg tried to put it out in front. It comes loose to Mike Foligno. He has Errol Thompson moving. Went off Thompson's skate. Ribble played it back out, and the Wings bring it in offside. So the play out over the Washington blue line now. Neither team with a shot on goal thus far in the period. And tomorrow, a woman's impulsive desire ends in murder. Honor Blackman and Gene Seberg star in Moment to Moment, TV 50's 8 o'clock movie.
Bruce, Washington have come out and have more or less taken the play away from Detroit here in the first 5 minutes or 4 minutes of this second period.
And they've done most of the hitting.
Yes, they are. They, no doubt, their coach said something to them between periods.
Now Gilbert played that puck along the boards, and it bounced away from Rick Green back into the Washington end. Dale McCourt, Danny LeBratton, or I'm sorry, it's Nedemansky. LeBratton now with Mike Foligno on the wing. Puck shot into the Detroit zone by Guy Charon. Foligno, he was checked there by Paul Mulvey. That's John Barrett, number 2, trying to pull away from Vervegart. Up the left side for LeBratton. LeBratton failed to get it out, and Gilbert handled that shot by Green. Now Foligno ahead to Nedemansky. He bounced it to the Washington blue line. LeBray cleared it beyond everybody. Larson coming back after it. Reed Larson played it ahead. Nedemansky comes out center ice. A right side pass. Foligno over the line. Drops it back for Nedemansky with a shot, and he fired it wide. Danny LeBratton digs it out of the corner. Here's LeBratton checked in along the boards. Mike Foligno has it. Now Foligno looking for Reed Larson at the point with a shot. Knocked down by the goaltender Stevenson. LeBratton goes in after it. It's knocked away from him, and Rick Green clears it up the left side. Paul Mulvey dumped it out to center ice. Mike Foligno just turned around, banged it back in. Wings changing on the move. Going in again is Green. Up the left side to Mulvey. Now Paul Mulvey played it off the side of the Detroit goal. Gilbert up the left wing. John Hamel couldn't get to it. It goes in behind the Detroit net, and Korn has it. Reed Larson. Larson dumping it out center ice. Walker quickly back after it. Taken away again by Larson. Larson off the side of the Washington goal, and Pat Ribble takes it there. 2-0 Detroit. We've played 5 minutes, 40 seconds now of the second period. Willie Huber up the left side to John Hamel. He tipped it ahead for Mark Curtin. Curtin has Hicks on the move. That puck bouncing into the corner, way out of the goal, Stevenson. Hicks tried to hold it in, but it's taken away by Walker. He lost it. Hamel off to Hicks. Hicks shoved off the puck by Walker. Now Hamel made a run at the Washington player, but here's Walker taking it over the line. The shot by Gustafson knocked away by Gilbert. Jim Korn driving it off the boards. It'll be held in at the line by Ribble. Pat Ribble rolled it right onto the stick of Korn, and Jim Korn just sweeps it back to the Washington zone. Howard Walker, number 3, handing it there to Ribble. Now Pat Ribble bouncing it off to the side of the Detroit goal. Gilbert plays it off to Willie Huber. Up the right wing, Glenn Hicks. Hicks played it beyond Curtin. Turning with it, Jim McTaggart in his own zone, trying to work away from Curtin. Now McTaggart from center ice with a shot wide of the net. It's in the back of the goal, so they'll bring the face-off out over the Detroit blue line. The Wings leading 2-0. We'll be back in a moment.
Get out your ticket stubs. It's time to select our J.B. Robinson Jewelers.
There's a fine white wine that goes with everything, from fish fillet to beef fillet, from cheese to hors d'oeuvres to pâté. Crisp, light, delightfully dry, with a European charm that's always right. Blue Nun, the delicious imported premium white wine.
Blue Nun goes anytime, any place with anything. Blue Nun goes everywhere. Blue Nun.
Here's Dennis Polonich digging into the Washington zone. His shot went wide, held into the blue line by John Barrett. Taken off the board zone, moving out with it, Rick Green. Green coming out center ice. Laying it in behind the Detroit net. Gilbert stops it there. His clearing pass didn't clear. It bounced, though, all the way back to center ice, and back after it again, McTaggart. Now Rick Green at the Washington line. 12 minutes, 45 seconds still to go in the second period. Puck bounced into the Detroit zone. Jean Pronovo tied up by Reed Larson. And Lyle clears up the left side. Puck bouncing again to center ice. Kelly has to chase it back into his own zone. McTaggart finally takes it. Lost it. Here's Errol Thompson back over the line. Thompson with a shot, and he fired that wide. Kelly, Bob Kelly, in behind his own net to McTaggart. 2-0 Detroit. Now the puck comes out to Dennis Marouk. Marouk over the line into the Detroit zone. Played it in toward the corner, digging in after it. Hangsleben. He was checked right there by Barrett. Reed Larson, a right wing pass. Foligno brings it out to center ice. Pulled away from Jarvis's check, and then backhanded in, and then he is really dumped to the ice by Hangsleben. And Foligno looking for Hangsleben, and he gave him a whack. And now the two of them are going to go at it, and Foligno drives Hangsleben to the ice. Hangsleben really caught Foligno right at the Detroit gate, and you knew that something was going to happen there.
I figured Mike was going to go for him, and he did. Just don't get thrown out of the game now by being foolish with the linesman. He's really wrestling now with the linesman trying to get back into it. But Mr. Hangsleben will know that Foligno will not back away from him.
So the Wings will pick up maybe an additional penalty as Mike Foligno is a little wild.
I haven't liked what I've seen here in the second period so far, Bruce. The Wings have not had a shot on net, and it's been 8 minutes.
Well, while they decide these penalties, we'll pause for this message.
Trail boss on a cattle drive. You put in long days under the big sky, and when the work's over, you head for the mountains. Bush. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Bush. Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountain. Head for...
Offsetting penalties to the two. Each of them get minors and majors. High sticking, minor penalties, and 5-minute fighting penalties.
I think Detroit got a little bit of a break there, Bruce. Mike Foligno was the one that initiated that little skirmish that wound up...
It was a play where there could have been a penalty called prior.
Originally, right.
Hangsleben. Here's
where Hangsleben takes him in along the boards, and watch, he actually gets his stick laid up and throws Foligno backwards. But when Mike got up, though, he looked for Hangsleben and come right in and started the skirmish.
So the two of them sit down for 7 minutes. Time of the penalties, 8:09. High sticking and fighting. Now Gilbert played it along the boards, but Walder will hold it in. Ryan Walder taking it into the corner. It's kicked out in front. They score. Gustafson just moving right in. Fired it by, and now it's a 2-1 hockey game.
That's a good goal by Gustafson. The puck comes out of the corner, and he got rid of it the minute it hit his stick. But the Wings were standing still. They have stopped skating here in the second period. They're letting Washington come to them. Here's the play. Walter kicks the puck out. It comes out of the corner. Actually, the play wasn't made by the stick. It was just a misplay, really, by number 11, but he got it right out to Gustafson, Mike Gartner. And Gustafson got rid of it the minute it hit his stick, went in the short side.
So Gustafson's 8th goal of the year. Gartner and Walter assisted 8:24. Now it's a 1-goal lead for Detroit. And Washington's carried the play to them throughout this second period. And they have the play back into the Detroit zone again. Reed Larson turning in behind his own net up the right side. Paul Woods chips it out to center ice. Gustafson just took a whack at it. Woods knocks the pass down, brings it back in. He and Gustafson collide. Play stayed right at the line. Reed Larson sent spinning by Ryan Walder, who stands up and looks him right in the face. And it's been Washington doing most of the hitting and most of the playing here in the second period. And we're close near the 9-minute mark.
And the Wings in the first period dominated, I thought, the play. They were skating, they were carrying the play to Washington, and they were causing Washington defense. The Washington defense, that's where this club is hurting. They've brought up fellows from the minor leagues. They've got several defensemen sitting out because of injuries. And the Wings were beating them on the outside and just causing them all kinds of trouble. But here in the second period, we haven't actually taken the play to them at all.
Now Jim Korn drives it back into the Washington end. That's Walker in behind his own goal. Clearing it ahead, Guy Chiron's pass. Picked up now by Vervegart. Vervegart around one man, putting it out in front. Willie Huber drove it into the corner. Korn fanned on it. They take it in along the boards and hold it there. Face off. Oh, no face off. Now the whistle blows, and the face off will be to the left of Gilbert. And the Capitals have had 3 shots in the goal, one of which was a goal by Gustafson. The Wings haven't had a shot on net, and we've played 9 minutes and 19 seconds of the second period. Lyle wins the draw. Korn playing it now to Willie Huber. Now Huber's pass skipped away from Lyle. Slides into the Washington zone. Rick Green circling in behind his own goal. He's hooked, and there'll be a penalty coming up to Lyle. George Lyle will go off, and now Washington, trailing by just a goal, will have the power play advantage.
And this is something that you really want to avoid, taking penalties. Lyle just followed Green around behind the net and then put the stick out and give a little tug at his arm. Down goes Green. George Lyle is getting the penalty for hooking.
9:33. Detroit penalty, number 18.
9 minutes and 33 seconds, the time of the penalty. We'll be back after we pause now for this.
What's the Peschke difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, for bacon, it's the way Peschke carefully selects only extra lean bacon, the kind that gives you that crispy, sweet smoke flavor. Extra lean, the quality difference you can taste in great American brand bacon from Peschke.
Peschke makes the difference that makes great American great.
Great American Bacon, it's extra lean, it's from Peschke, and it's available at Great Scott supermarkets.
Well, on the power play, they started a little earlier than we thought they would, and I'll tell you, Gilbert had to come up with a dandy save again as Washington pressured hard. Lyle off for hooking at 9:33, and here the Capitals moving out again. Driven into the Detroit zone, Gilbert out of the net. Gilbert cleared it along the boards, and Paul Woods handed it off to Dale McCourt. McCourt has Barrett coming up with him. Here's McCourt over the line. Dale McCourt cutting by Gustafson. Took the shot. It went in behind the goal. The 2 Philadelphia players went to the boards together. Now Dennis Marouk starts back. A minute left in Lyle's penalty time. Marouk back into the Detroit zone. The puck loose, and Reed Larson shoots it back into the Washington end. Back after it, the goal scorer Gustafson as he turns in behind Stevenson. 45 seconds left in the penalty. 9 minutes, 10 seconds now to go in the second period. There's that long pass bouncing off the side of the net. Gilbert deflected into the corner. Larson bumped Walter. Duran played it off to the side of the net. A centering pass covering up Errol Thompson. Shot from the line. Gustafson lost it. Thompson picked it up and clears it out to center ice. Then Ribble comes back after it. 15 seconds left in the Detroit penalty. Capitals move it over the line again. Guy Chiron. Chiron moving in. And Gilbert made the save, and then a centering pass knocked away, and Thompson picks it up. And Thompson again drives it down the ice. And Gilbert has been sharp. Now here's Rick Green. Penalty over. Detroit at full strength with the play in offside.
Let me tell you, Guy Chiron has only scored 1 goal this season, but he has had 3 or 4 really good chances here in this game tonight. He made a terrific play just a moment ago, held his shot, moved in, and Gilbert come out to cut down the angle and beat him.
8 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the second period, which has been pretty well controlled by the Capitals.
Detroit still without a shot here in the second period. They've just let Washington completely take over the game after having, I thought the Wings had a real good first period.
Now Paul Woods out on the right wing with Danny LeBratton and Nedemansky. Puck into the Detroit end. Willie Huber being chased by Paul Mulvey, and Gilbert cleared it up on the right side. Woods takes it off the boards. 3-man rush for the Wings now. Here's Woods. Danny LeBratton moving in. LeBratton trying to get loose. And he slid it off to the side of the net, but Woods went in after it. Woods held in along the boards, goes down. Nedemansky controls. Nedemansky played it back on the left point. Jim Korn. Now Korn let the shot go. It was knocked away in front. And here's Mulvey coming back for Washington. Mulvey's pass hit a player right along the blue line, bounced to Gilbert, and the Wings are going to be called for icing again as it goes deep into the Washington end. So the play all the way back to the Detroit zone.
To participate in tonight's Bush Beer Shootout, turn to page 17.
Well, our next telecast won't be coming up until the 3rd of January, when we'll be at Pittsburgh, the Red Wings and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The same Pittsburgh Penguins said that we'll be watching New Year's Eve, which has become sort of an annual thing at the Joe Louis Arena.
And Pittsburgh, in the past, say, 10 days, have won 3 or 4 big hockey games. Beat Montreal, lost a tough one last night to Philadelphia.
Got clobbered by the Rangers 10-1.
Right, but then won, I think, 4 out of 5 after that.
Now we have Mark Curtin with Glenn Hicks and Hamel. That's Kelly bumping along the boards with Barrett. Puck came to the side of the net, and Gilbert has it locked there. And it has been Washington applying the pressure.
Well, Washington is just out-muscling us right now. Watch Kelly go in the corner here, or in along the boards. Knocks Barrett sideways, and then he moves this puck back out in front, and Gilbert has it frozen right at the goalpost.
John Hamel fired it right into the Washington bench. Tuesday, the 23rd of December, is free T-shirt night with the Red Wings. The first 6,000 youngsters, 14 and under, will receive a free T-shirt, compliments of On TV and the Red Wings. That's Tuesday, the 23rd of December. Free Red Wings On TV T-shirt night at Joe Louis Arena. Red Wings lead the hockey game 2-1, but Washington has applied the pressure in just about all of the second period. 7.5 minutes still to go, and that's Kelly trying to move in. Stepping on the puck was Reed Larson, and he held the Capitals off in that manner. Glenn Hicks takes a whack along the boards again. And now Reed Larson, and Kelly came in after him. Larson gave, I think it was McTaggart, a bump along the boards, and then Kelly came whistling in and handled Larson, and Larson throws Kelly down to the ice. Now McTaggart is really whipping away at the Red Wing player. That's Mark Curtin he's got down, swinging away at him.
Reed Larson threw Kelly to the ice, but
McTaggart was really swinging away at Curtin, who isn't much of a penalized player.
This may get the Red Wings going a little better, Bruce. They've been sitting back and have been in trouble because of it. This may make them realize that they have to start going to Washington. They still have their 2-1 lead, but it's the goaltending that has kept that 2-1 lead. Gilbert has been terrific.
Well, we'll wait to see the penalties called now. I imagine there'll be 2 aside. So while they figure out the penalties, we're going to take a moment now to pause for this message.
Come experience what lies beyond the sports car. American Motors introduces Eagle SX4, the new 4-wheel drive sport machine. Eagle SX4 outcorners Trans Am in soft sand, out-accelerates Mustang Turbo in loose dirt, outbreaks MGB on dry pavement. Plus, the 4-wheel drive Eagle SX4 beats them all in gas mileage. Experience driving in the 4th dimension with American Motors.
Reed Larson and Mark Curtin of Detroit, Bob Kelly and Jim McTaggart of Washington into the penalty box.
We have a couple out-of-town scores I'll try and give you. Buffalo are leading beating Vancouver 2-0. There are the players going into the penalty box. That's the busiest place.
Hangsleben and Foligno still there. They had their 7 minutes in fighting penalties called at 8:09. Here it's
Miners, right. There's along the boards. This started very innocently, but then Kelly is the one that came in and wanted the piece of Larson. And what got McTaggart started, I don't know, against Curtin.
24, Bob Kelly, 5 minutes for fighting. Number 4, Jim McTaggart, 2 minutes for roughing. Time and penalties, 12:37.
I don't know how McTaggart could get a roughing penalty. He was the one that was really throwing punches.
Right.
But he and Curtin get roughing penalties. And Larson and Kelly draw 5 minutes for fighting. So what it amounts to is each team will play short a man. Quebec leading Edmonton 4-0 in their game, first period at Edmonton.
It's 5-1 now, Bruce, in the first period.
Oh, you probably just gave that, eh? Well,
No, I just got the sheet here.
That's John Ogrodnik that flips it back into the Washington zone. Each team short a man for 2 minutes. Dale McCourt dug it away. He met a man open. He had Willie Huber wide open, and he just flipped it out in front of the goal. Here now, a break. Walter took the shot, fired it wide. Walter went into the corner after it, and it's taken away by Ogrodnik. Dale McCourt. Now McCourt just played it right onto the stick of Gartner, and Gartner dumped it back out center ice. Jim Korn ridden right into the Washington bench by Walter. There's Gartner with a shot, knocked down by Gilbert. And Gilbert himself is going to shoot it down the ice. And there'll be an icing call off the Detroit goaltender.
I don't know how to explain this, and I'm sure Wayne Maxner will be happy when this period is over and get the team back in the dressing room. The Wings are not skating the way they have been as of late, and they're sitting back. Instead of going up and peeling off and coming back with their checks, they're just sitting back waiting for them and getting in trouble.
They've been outshot 7-0. CTC makes purchasing Red Wings tickets easier than ever. Red Wings tickets are available now at all CTC outlets, including Hudson's, K-Bombs, Randolph Travel, Windsor Arena, the Eyebrows Bookstore, the Fisher Theater, Connolly's Jewelers, the Rensselaer, the Showerman's Party Store, and the Dickens Den. Each team still short a man. Now George Lyle won the face-off. He has Errol Thompson moving with it, knocked away from him. Ribble clearing it back to the Detroit line. Perry Miller gives it now to Barrett. Here's Barrett ahead to Lyle. He's got Thompson coming in with him. The pass just too far out in front of Thompson. And Jarvis comes back after it. Now Jarvis cleared it ahead to Ribble. Pat Ribble. Ahead now to Gustafson. Gustafson in over the Detroit blue line. Checked there by Errol Thompson, who swings it back into the Washington zone. 40 seconds left in the penalties to McTaggart and Curtin. That's Gustafson back into the Detroit zone, pulled away from the one check, put it out in front, and Gilbert made the save, and a big save it was too on Jarvis, who cut right in front of him. Howard Walker right back to Jarvis. He sends it back to Ribble. Now here over the line is Howard Walker, dumping it into the corner. Perry Miller in after it. Miller cleared it off the glass, but it comes back to Ribble. Ribble took the shot, and Gilbert holds on to that with Chiron right out in front of him.
Shots now are 9-0 here in the second period. 9 for Washington. No shots for yet for Detroit.
Well, they may be making...
Good goaltending here. The play comes across right out in front of the net. And Wes Jarvis really got the wood to it, but Gilbert beat him right along the ice.
They're probably making Stevenson a little overconfident right now. If they ever get in on him, he's
That's
not
right.
going to know what to do.
Goaltender that doesn't get any work really does have problems making saves when it does happen.
Willie Huber sends it up on the left side now for Jim Korn. Korn down the boards into the Washington zone, trying to work around Green in behind the goal. And Green wrapped him in along the boards there. And it's taken away by Chiron. In behind the net, they still battle after it. Number 22, Glenn Hicks. Hicks is sent spinning. And the Capitals bring it out with LeBray. But they had whistled down the play, and the face-off will stay in the Washington zone. Penalties to Curtin and McTaggart are over. So the teams are back at full strength. Billy Day of the Red Wings will be on hand to answer the question asked in the first intermission on the fan forum, and we'll have a look at Dennis Polonich, our Red Wing profile, coming up in the second intermission. 5 minutes and 11 seconds still to go here in the second period. Dale McCourt. Polino remains in the penalty box, so Nedomansky comes out on the right wing, Ogrodnik on the left side. Puck chopped out to center ice. Corns fired it right back in. Stevenson stopped it in behind the goal. That's LeBray going in after it. Von LeBray holding it in behind the Washington net. Now LeBray dumped it along the boards. It's tipped into the Detroit zone. Gilbert cleared it high off the glass, and it ends up into the crowd. 2-1, Detroit leads. 4 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the second period, and the Wings still looking for their first shot on goal here in the second period.
Annual trip to Pittsburgh, January 31st.
Enjoy a Red Wing hockey game at the Joe Louis Arena with your club or organization. For group sale information, call Emily at 962-2000.
In the second, Boston leading LA.
Had a couple young ladies come up and talk to us for the game. They've been visiting the Washington area and on hand to watch this hockey game. Sharon and Margot, who said they want all the family and friends back in Detroit to know they're having a good time. Wayne Maxner in behind the Detroit bench. And as you said, Sid, he looks concerned.
Well, I would think he is, too, after watching his club play terrific in the first period, come out and be this flat in the second period. But great goaltending has held them in, and if they can just straighten it out, they're still all right.
Now Willie Huber hands it to Korn. Jim Korn had trouble with it, kicking away at it, but he's not going to get it out. It's taken away by Gartner. Gartner run it right out in front, but it went through everybody and slides back to the Washington blue line. Ribble comes back after it. Cleared it out to center ice. Foligno back on, shot it in offside. They'll have the face-off right at center ice. The shots on goal, Washington 17, Detroit 6. In the second period, Washington 9, Detroit none. And we have 4 minutes and 25 seconds still to play. Well, this is the line that's going to have to get the shots. Foligno, McCourt, and Ogrodnik. And they're on against some pretty tough competition in Gartner, Gustafson, and Walter. Over the line, John Ogrodnik. He hands it to Dale McCourt and went too far out in front of him. Gartner clearing it in behind his own goal. Tied up there by McCourt. Ribble went in along the boards with Ogrodnik, and they hold it. Face-off stays in the Washington end.
Turn to page 17.
So Kelly and Larson, the only two men still in the penalty box. Their 5-minute penalties called at 12:37, so they'll be out with just a couple of minutes to play in the period.
Tempers are still running a little high. Mike Foligno had another little chat in the corner after the play was stopped. Goaltenders don't like sitting and not getting any shots, Bruce. I would think if we get a good whack at the net, we'll probably score.
Face off to the right of the Washington goal. Walter in against McCourt. And that's Ribble picking up the loose puck, dumping it out to center ice. Foligno knocked it away. Came back to Perry Miller. Here now Foligno back over the line, trying to go through. He lost it, and Dale McCourt couldn't pick it up. And coming right back, Mike Gartner. Streaking over the line into the Detroit zone with a shot that went wide. Now Ogrodnik takes it off the boards. Ogrodnik gives it to Dale McCourt. Foligno with him. The two of them move in. A drop pass too far behind Foligno. And coming right back, Washington, but the play had been whistled down. An offside pass, evidently. The only thing I can figure out, I didn't see the linesman call it.
I don't see how it could have been offside. It had to be offside the way they're standing there waiting for a face-off, but...
Two linesmen talking it over. Well, it could be offside. They're going to bring it inside the Washington blue line. Marouk wins the draw. That's Rick Green handing it off to Walker. Howard Walker down the left side, being chased by Curtin, a bouncing shot. Gilbert stops that and grabs a rebound as Hangsleben moved in on top of him. So with 3:33 to go, face-off stays in the circle off to the right of Gilles Gilbert, who almost single-handedly has kept the Red Wings out in front 2-1 here in the second period. At Philadelphia in the second period, St. Louis leading the Flyers 3-1. Willie Huber couldn't get loose. Now that's Marouk. His pass to Pronovo. Hangsleben off the side of the net again. Hangsleben goes into the corner. Korn knocked it away from him. And coming out with it, Jim Korn. Now Korn fired it in behind the Washington goal. Stevenson stops it there. Played it up to the left side. Hicks ran into Hangsleben there. They have that puck tied up along the boards, but Hangsleben brings it out. Here's Rick Green. Up on the right side to Dennis Marouk. Back into the Detroit zone. Marouk's pass broken up as it bounced off Mark Curtin. Into the corner, Jim Korn. Korn just left it right there, so John Hamel goes in after it. And the Capitals are down on top of it, so the play will stay still in the Detroit end with 2:50 to go.
You know, how do coaches or how does anyone account for a team doing what the Wings have done this period?
Which isn't very much.
No, it's just a case where they are sitting back. Really, there's no reason for it, and I'm sure that Wayne realized this, that they still have their 2-1 lead, which you have to be thankful for, but they're getting great goaltending to keep that 2-1 lead. But
Remember,
you can't let a team just keep coming at you like that.
Shots on goal the end of the first period were 8 and 6 for Washington. They're now 18 and 6. A little less than 3 minutes to play here in the second period. Dennis Polonich finally ended up winning the draw. Here's Perry Miller coming out. Miller on the move. Fired the long shot.
Right.
There it is. The first shot on goal. It came from center ice. Now George Lyle played it in behind the goal. LeBray firing it ahead. It'll be taken right at the blue line. Vervegard ahead to Jarvis. Play broken up at the line by Errol Thompson. Here's Pat Ribble moving back in. He was dumped by Perry Miller. Digging in George Lyle. He couldn't get to it. Miller has it along the boards. Play very loose right now. Here's Polonich. And Dennis Polonich's pass broken up by Jarvis again. Jarvis fires it in behind the Detroit net. Going in after it, Perry Miller. Miller played it beyond Errol Thompson. Trying to get loose as Lyle didn't do it. Jarvis with a shot, and that went wide. In behind the goal, Vervegard trying to put it out in front, and it was Thompson that covered up. Now Errol Thompson scoops it all the way down the ice. And there'll be an icing call again against Detroit as LeBray's back after it, and the play right back into the Red Wing zone with 1:47 to go in the second period, and the Wings lead it 2-1. And they did not get a shot on goal till a little flip shot from out at center ice went all the way to Stevenson, who knocked it away, and it was with
Perry.
about 2.5 minutes to go.
Right, Perry Miller, just a little easy shot just after he crossed center ice. It was on the net. Stevenson had to make the save. This isn't in any way saying that the Wings wouldn't come back out in the next period possibly and take the play away from them. It's just a case that when you start sitting back, it's pretty hard to get the motors revved up again and start carrying the play to Washington. Washington have just carried the play to them this entire period.
Well, they had a loose pane of glass down off to the left of the Washington goal. The maintenance people had just moved out onto the ice to take care of it, but the linesman and the goaltender Stevenson already had handled it. Great seats available for Red Wings season tickets below the walkway at Joe Louis Arena. For Red Wings season ticket information, call 961-6444. Wings trying to get something moving here in the latter moments of the second period. 1:47 to go. And Foligno moved too quickly, so they whistle down the face-off, and we'll go through it again off to the left of the Detroit net. Ogrodnik, Foligno, and McCourt up front. Korn and Huber. And that's Ryan Walter in against McCourt. McCourt wins the draw. Jim Korn in behind Gilbert. Now Korn bounces it out center ice. McCourt trying to pick it up, couldn't do it. McTaggart knocked it away from him. Puck slides ahead over the line. Gartner. Here's Mike Gartner dropping it back, and it's knocked away by Huber, picked up by McCourt. John Ogrodnik back into the Washington zone. Whistle that shot. That's knocked away and ends up into the crowd.
John Ogrodnik has a terrific shot. He has both the slap shot and the wrist shot. That time he went around the outside of the defenseman and really had some mustard on the shot.
That's really the only test that Stevenson has had thus far in the period. So the play stays to the left of the Washington goal. Reed Larson comes on now to play that right point with the play deep in the Washington end. Del McCourt, if he can get it back to him, that'll be his job.
A couple out-of-town scores. Boston have taken a 4-1 lead over Los Angeles in the second period. And Quebec are ahead of Edmonton 5-1. Just still in the first period.
But the Capitals win the face-off, and Ribble goes in behind his own goal. Sends it up on the right side. Moving out with it, Walter tips it into the Detroit zone. Mike Foligno goes in after it. Chased by Gustafson. They lost control. They score! And the game tied as it was Captain Ryan Walter moving right in to tie the hockey game. It's been all Washington here in the second period.
That was just carelessness in their own zone. Washington threw it back out in front of the net, and no mistake was made there. It was just a case of being buried.
Oh, I'm sorry, they said Edberg scored.
Number 11, Mike.
Going back out, Willie Huber come over and didn't play the puck. I thought it was Walter that scored the goal.
It was, I'm sure it was.
Right, he come across and took the play from Gartner. Willie Huber tried to knock Gartner down and never made a play on the puck, and it comes straight across the front of the net.
Time of the goal, 18:52.
Jill Gilbert had no chance on it.
1 minute
They
remaining in
did
the
change
period.
it. They gave it to Edberg, but it was Walter that scored it. And the game is 2-2. And here they come again over the line. Guy Chiron. Chiron's pass into the corner. Centered right out in front and ends up in the crowd. Well, there are 11 shots on goal for Washington and 2 for Detroit. And that pretty well tells the story of this second period, and the Wings have been unable to get on track.
Oh, it's been all Joe there. Washington have had to play, carrying the play to Detroit this entire period, with the Wings more or less content to let them come in over their blue line.
So a 2-2 tie now as the play goes to the left of the Detroit goal. Guy Chiron won the draw. Pronovo sent it back to the line. That shot went just wide of the net. Gilbert wouldn't have had much chance on that. Paul Woods dumps it out center ice. Ribble has it locked to the boards there. Play whistle down and the face-off out over the Detroit blue line. So the Wings, who won the first period 2-0, are in a 2-2 tie now. And 39 seconds remain here in the middle period. I imagine Coach Wayne Maxton will be very pleased to see those 39 seconds pass by.
I'm sure he will. He just can't wait to get in and talk to this crew and tell them to get things organized again.
Again, with a couple of players moving too quickly, they whistled off the face-off. We'll go through it again. Jarvis in against Curtin, just over the Detroit blue line. Now Ribble shoots it into the corner, going back after it, Reed Larson. Larson's pass comes up to Curtin. Curtin scoops it ahead for Harold Thompson. Thompson given a pretty good jolt right at center ice by Hangsleben. Play goes into the Washington zone. That's Rick Green in behind his own goal, winding up. 17 seconds in the period as Green on the move, charging over the line. It was tipped away. Coming back after it again was Vervegart. Cleared back into the Detroit zone. Now it comes back to Ribble. Ribble took the shot, and that's wide. 5 seconds in the period. Here's Green playing it off the side of the net. Jarvis tried to center it. Barrett covered up on him. And the whistle stops the play as the second period is over. And so after 2 periods of play in which the Red Wings had only 2 shots at goal and Washington had 11, the game is all tied at 2-2, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Lead-free choice. Quality Amoco lead-free in the blue pump and Amoco Premium lead-free in the gold pump for engines that need high-octane performance.
And they're both seasonally blended for better starting and smoother warm-ups in winter.
You expect more from a leader.
Before you even consider buying a Jeep Cherokee, make sure you're serious, because this one's not for show. This one's for go. There are other choices, including Broncos and Blazers. But only Cherokee has Jeep's legendary 4-wheel drive. An integral steel roof, not plastic. 2 or 4 doors. And only Cherokee has Jeep's record for durability. Here's your choice. Jeep Cherokee, the truck. From Jeep Corporation of American Motors.
On right now at Dick Morris Chevrolet, the annual Bonanza Truck Sale. When you think of trucks, think of Dick Morris Chevrolet. Fact, always a huge selection. Fact, shopper stopper prices on our entire inventory. Fact, superior service. Yes, sirree, Dick Morris Chevrolet is determined to be your favorite Chevrolet dealer. The best truck and car deal is the Dick Morris Chevrolet deal. Order yours today. Give us a try. You'll never get a better buy.
Morris Chevrolet.
Friday, January 2nd is free stocking cap night with the Red Wings. The first 5,500 youngsters 14 and under will receive a free stocking cap, compliments of 7-Up and the Red Wings. That's Friday, January 2nd, Red Wings 7-Up stocking cap night.
This is Fan Forum, a chance for Red Wing fans to ask the questions. Now, here's Al Blade.
We're back with Dennis Davidson, and he has a question for Billy Day.
Yeah, my question for Billy is, what is his duties when he pre-scouts a professional team? What does he look for, and what is the difference between scouting a pro team versus a farm club or junior club?
Well, the difference probably, as far as I'm concerned, is that when I scout the colleges and the juniors, I'm looking for an individual player. Now, when I go out to do the pregame scouting, or the pregame scouting, I look for a team as in general, what they do as a team, what 5 guys on the ace are doing offensively and defensively, how are their power plays setting up, are they successful, are they having problems getting out of their own end, the penalty killers, how do they work, general things like that, Al. That's the difference there. If I go to scout the colleges, I'm looking at a draft, a player that's going to be drafted within the next year or so, and we have individual forms that we fill out. So, skating, shooting, things like this.
When you do advanced scouting, how far in advance do you go before the Red Wings would play that team?
Well, usually as near to as I can that we're going to play them, usually if we're going to play them in their rink, then I like to see them in their rink, and if we're going to play them like if they're going to be in our rink, then I like to see them on the road somewhere, because some teams do play differently home and away, and I think it's very important.
Our thanks to Billy Day and also to our guest fan, Dennis Davidson. See you next game on Fan Forum.
With you again from here at the Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland. And, Sidney, I would say that the hottest room in this big building is the Detroit Red Wing dressing room right now.
There's no doubt about that. Wayne is going to be talking to them and talking to them serious, and they will be listening, because he is one that's going to be upset to see his club come out here, dominate in the first period, and then sit back and let Washington completely just take the play right away from them. The Wings are very fortunate, Bruce, that they're not behind in this hockey game. They let the 2-goal lead go, but there's nothing saying that they can't come back now, put their act together, and start going back at Washington.
Wings didn't have a shot on the goal till after the 17-minute mark of the period, and then it was just a little flip shot by Perry Miller that ended up going to the net. That was recorded as the first shot on goal, and John O'Grodnik let a pretty good shot go from an angle, and he knocked that away. Those were the 2 shots the Wings had. Well, Gilbert knocked away all but 2 of the 11 shots fired in his direction, and he made some pretty big saves in that period. Sid, you've been around hockey a long time. What happens to a club? I mean, when a team has played, and I'm going back over the last 4 games now or so, where they put together one good period after another, and then all of a sudden just a complete collapse in 20 minutes.
If I had the answer for that, Bruce, I wouldn't be standing here with you. I'd be probably still trying to stay in hockey, but it's just unexplainable. A lot of times a team will get a lead and then sit back and let the club come to you. But it's unusual that after dominating and going the way they were in the first period to this early in a game, sit back, and they just absolutely stop skating. They come back, lined up behind their blue line, and let Washington just come after them. You just can't do it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. A week ago yesterday, the Red Wings were about to play the Philadelphia Flyers, and going into that game, we said that how bad the third period had been to the Red Wings. In the games they had played up to that point, the Red Wings had scored only 20 times in third period play and given up 50 goals, which was over 2 goals a game in third period play. But since we said that, the Red Wings have not given up a goal in the third period, have scored 4 of their own. So they tightened up considerably and have shut out the opposition third period in the last 4 games. Well, if they can do it here again tonight and get one of their own, then it could well be the first victory of the season on the road for Detroit. But I think Wayne Maxner's big job right now is to just get them going again.
Well, it's always harder to start a club again that stopped on you. I know that. But the fact that they're in there, and I know Wayne Maxner is one that talks really common hockey knowledge to them. And they will be sitting listening, because he doesn't take any bluff from any of them at all. And I would think that he'll be calling a spade and going through them and calling them by name, saying, well, you're not skating and you're not doing this. Let's start working. They weren't only outplayed, Bruce. They were out-bumped, out-hustled, out-muscled, and it was just a bad period of hockey for them. But they're very fortunate, as I said earlier. They are tied, and they can still come back and win this hockey game.
Well, if anything, they should take heart from the goaltending of Gilles Gilbert, who kept them in with the shots on goal right now, reading 19-8. That is a big margin, and I think that's just about the story of the game thus far, except for the goaltending.
There's no doubt goaltending, and he is playing a hot hand, and if he continues to play this way, the Wings are going to start winning hockey games. But we have to win a game on the road. As soon as they win a game on the road, then we'll look for our second win on the road. But until we win one, we better sit and just hold our breath, more or less.
Well, we've said it so many times, it seems that Red Wings are pretty well down in the standings, but with this the 29th game of the season, after tonight they play number 30 Tuesday, and there'll still be another 50 games left, so there's a long time if they can turn it around and get it going. Then come April, we'll see this hockey cup in the playoffs, but not if we see another 20 minutes of hockey like we just saw.
If they play like that, Bruce, we won't be around in April.
Well, I don't think they're going to, but we'll be checking that out when we come back for third period action. In just a moment or so, we're going to be taking a look at one of the hard-working players of the Detroit Red Wings, Dennis Polonich. We'll be back with a profile on Dennis after we watch this.
Come, drive in the fourth dimension. Experience the four-wheel drive edge of the American Eagle. Feel all four wheels bite into bone-dry pavement, slice through rain, eat up snow. This year, Eagle introduces incredibly improved gas mileage to its spectacular four-wheel drive advantage. Why drag two helpless wheels along? Now drive with extra traction and economy in the fourth dimension. The American Eagle from American Motors.
What's the pesky difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, if you're talking about ham, you're talking about carefully selected lean and firm hams, just full of sweet smoke flavor, lean and firm. That's the quality difference. Great American brand hams from Pesky.
Pesky makes the difference that makes great American great.
Hams from Pesky are available at all great Scott supermarkets. Ask for them. Some of the guests on Red Wing Hockey receive an AM/FM cassette recorder from Sound Design, who also feature the stereo console with 8-track and cassette player recorders and phone. Available at all 23 Good Housekeeping neighborhood stores.
Dennis Polonich, native of Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, put on his first pair of ice skates at the age of 8, learning to stay on his feet on a pond near his house. Polonich didn't begin to play organized hockey until he was 10 years old. Polonich decided what his destiny was to be along about the 6th grade. It was an art class. The teacher instructed her students to use their imaginations, draw a picture, and then give it a title. It didn't take much time to get Dennis Polonich's imagination going. He knew what he was going to draw. It was an ice rink, and his title was Hockey. My dream is to play in the NHL. Polo enjoyed watching the Toronto Maple Leafs play as he was growing up, but that wasn't as frequent as he might have liked because they had to walk to their neighbors to watch television. The Polonich farm didn't have electricity until the 1960s. In the 9th grade, Dennis was good enough to play varsity hockey in high school along with his older brother. However, the rules only allowed for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders to be carried on the squad. So Polonich had to be content to practice with the team until he could get a jersey the following year. Polo had a good hockey year as a sophomore in high school and decided to drop out of school in the 11th grade, choosing to play junior hockey in Flim Flam, Manitoba. Polonich played 2 years in Manitoba and then played a short time with Virginia, the American Hockey League, in 1974-75, and was then signed by the Detroit Red Wings that same season. The feisty 5'6" center right wing has been with the Wings ever since, with Jean Hamel being the only current Red Wing who has more seniority. This 1980-81 campaign begins number 8's 6th full season with Detroit. Polo is not a goal-scorer threat, but he helps the team with his all-out hustle. He may also be one of the smallest players in the NHL, but he won't be pushed around. Jersey number 8 led the Red Wings with penalty minutes for 3 straight seasons until 1979-80, falling behind only because he has been besieged with injuries. He's had a separated shoulder, broken nose, as well as pulled muscles over the right hip. Polonich and his wife Angie return to Foam Lake in the summertime and enjoys farming. Dennis Polonich, tonight's Red Wing Profile.
Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help?
Mm-mm.
Want my Coke?
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay. Thanks.
That's the way
Some feet don't mind winter. They slosh through slush, tramp in the damp, and never feel cold. But some feet need help. From Dr. Scholl's winter insoles. Cozy sheep wool fleece help keep feet warmer. And thin, comfortable thermocushions with space-age insulation protect against cold and dampness. Let Dr. Scholl's sheep wool fleece or thermocushion insoles keep your feet warmer. Because winter's for the birds.
Now, you can order Red Wing souvenirs and gift items by mail. Choose from a wide variety of distinctive souvenirs. Over 200 items ranging from keychains to jerseys, T-shirts, pennants, hats, baseball caps, plus Red Wing jackets with crest in sizes to fit both boys and fathers. They're great for gift giving or for yourself. For a free brochure, call the Red Wings at 963-8400 or write Detroit Red Wings, 600 Civic Center Drive, Detroit 48226. Call 963-8400.
The Red Wings are now offering a great selection of books on hockey at a special holiday price of 3 for $10. There are books on goaltending, Bobby Orr, Jack Adams, and many, many more. Any 3 for $10 on sale at all Red Wing home games. Puritan Sportswear provides Red Wing intermission guests with a handsome sweater and knit shirt ensemble. Puritan, America's standard for quality in men's sportswear, is available at fine stores everywhere.
Professional wrestling returns.
The Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland, the home of the Washington Capitals, who came from behind to tie the game at 2-2 in the second period. You are watching Red Wing hockey on WKBD TV 50, your choice for sports in Detroit. Red Wings return home tomorrow morning. We'll be working out Monday and preparation for their game Tuesday against the Edmonton Oilers. That will be in WJR Radio at 7:25 Tuesday night. And then Thursday, Toronto Maple Leafs at the Joe Louis Arena. And the Wings move back out onto the road next Saturday against Colorado.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bruce, there's a competition back in Detroit. I was hoping that we would have been able to put a plaque on to show it on camera, but we can't. Hockey skills competition for young people aged 7 to 16. They want you to register now. They call it the Hockey Hat Trick, 1980 competition. Skating, passing, and shooting. And you go along and play, and you register, and you shoot at Wyandotte Speniak Arena, December the 24th. St. Clair Shore Arena, December the 26th and January the 2nd. Oak Park Ice Arena, December the 29th, December the 30th. Livonia Ice Arena, December the 29th and 30th. And you finally get a chance to advance to the finals at the Joe Louis Arena just prior to the Detroit Red Wing game of January the 24th. And this is for kids 7 to 16. A lot similar to the competition in football. What do they call it?
Punt and kick?
Right.
No, that can't be right.
Something like
Punt
that.
and the kick's very close to each other.
And, well, passing, punting, and kicking, I believe, too.
I guess maybe so.
And they call this the Hockey Hat Trick, and it's in the 3 major areas of hockey: skating, passing, and shooting. And it's a group, I think, out in Southfield that got this started, and they have plaques, and I know they want the kids to register and get a chance to advance to the finals. A great thing for youngsters. And, you know, we see the kids in this little program that we have between periods, and there are some terrific young hockey players in the Detroit area.
Well, you bet there are. The latest news, weather, and sports. TV 50's independent network news immediately following the game tonight. There's Gilles Gilbert as he adjusts his mask, gets things set for the third period of action. You see the crowd filing back in.
Bruce, I just want to go on with that. I forgot to notice it here. For further information on this here Hockey Hat Trick, call Southfield Parks and Recreation at 354-9603. 354-9603.
Very good. Again, we had a little mix-up. The Red Wings had a lineup out on the ice they wanted to start the period with. The referee, Ryan Lewis, said no. He made them change back to the curtain combination with Sean Hamel and Glenn Hicks. Reed Larson and Barrett, both teams are at full strength. From the face-off, it comes back now to Washington. Capitals clear it to the Detroit blue line. Reed Larson knocked it down, sent it back out center ice. Now that's Rick Green, number 5, shooting it too far for anybody, and there'll be an icing call as Barrett is back to touch it, and the play will come all the way back into the Washington zone. Well, I told you that the latest news, weather, and sports would be immediately following this game, but I guess we forgot the game started at 7 o'clock, so it will be 10:30.
You must smoke. please do so on the concourse level. Thank you.
I'm going to start thinking positive. We're going to win our first road game, Bruce.
Well, I am sure that that's in the mind of a few of the Red Wings right now. We'll see if they can get it going. LeBray plays it up on the right side. Jim Korn came in, gave Gartner a bump. John Ogrodnik back after the puck, pulled away from his check. Fired it off the glass in the corner, rolled in behind the net. LeBray goes in after it. Von LeBray trying to work his way out. Was held in at the line for the moment by Ogrodnik. Now bringing it out Green with a good pass ahead to Gustafson up the right side. Gartner back to Gustafson, broken up by Korn. Three of the wings move back. Ogrodnik. John Ogrodnik down the wrong wing, trying to work around LeBray. Tried to put it out in front. It hit the side of the goal, and it's held there by the goaltender Stevenson. So the play again stays to the left of the Washington goal. Wings make a player change now as they send back out Curtin, Hamel, and Hicks to face the line of Kelly, Marouk, Pronovo.
That's one thing Wayne Maxner has done with this hockey club. He has tried to figure out and play line for line instead of just throwing them out when it's their turn. He has tried to keep this Curtin, Hamel, and Hicks line on this big line of Pronovo and Kelly.
Puck bouncing around in the circle, comes out now to Kelly. This is Dennis Marouk. Marouk dribbling it in, going into the corner with Barrett is number 22, Pronovo. They take it in along the boards. It's kicked loose and sent back in along the boards. Curtin coming up with it. Now Mark Curtin dumped it down the ice. They wave off any icing out of the goal. Stevenson is going to hold on to it as Glenn Hicks was moving in on top of him, so they did what they want. The Red Wings did, held the play in the Washington zone, right out in front of the Capitals goal. No,
that right there was a little different, Bruce. That right there is a little different in the second period. A hustle by Glenn Hicks caused this play to be faced off deep in Washington zone.
Barrett took himself off the ice, went over to the Detroit bench. I think he's got a little something wrong with his skate. So Perry Miller comes on to replace him. That's Ribble firing it in behind his own net. Up the left side to Kelly. Kelly didn't get it out, held in. That's Curtin. Curtin steered off the puck, though, by Walker. Hicks took his man Ribble in along the boards. Curtin trying to get it loose. They struggle, still scrambling after that puck. Play whistle down. Face-off stays to the left of the Washington goal. So the Wings are doing what they didn't do too much of in the second period. They're starting to push the Washington club in their own zone. Detroit in now with George Lyle, Harold Thompson, Dennis Polonich. Korn and Huber back along the Detroit defense. Number 17 is Jarvis. Wes Jarvis of Washington in against George Lyle. Puck goes in behind the Washington goal. McTaggart played it up the right side. Langsleben was checked right there. Came to the blue line again. And out at center ice. Jarvis turns it back to his own line. Played it deeper into his own zone. Jimmy McTaggart up the right side to Green. It bounced away from him. Here's McTaggart with it. At center ice. Play stopped there, so Errol Thompson dumps it back in. McTaggart goes back after it again. Cleared it back to the line. Willie Huber held it in. Shot knocked down out in front. Wings trying to hold it in. It's held in. There's George Lyle with a shot. He fired it wide. Jim Korn from the left point. He let that shot go. Knocked down out in front. And Jarvis dumped it up the right side. Korn comes back, being chased there. Played it out to the center ice zone, and the Capitals cleared it back in on the offside. So with the score still tied at 2-2, we shall be back in just a moment.
We'd like to introduce the 1981 American Motors Concorde.
Pretty ain't enough anymore, mister.
You're right, but Concorde's more than just good looking. This luxury compact's made of the same stuff you are.
Huh?
Steel. Galvanized steel. Concorde's the only American car with galvanized steel in 100% of the exterior body panels.
But is it tough on gas?
Concorde beats Chevy Citation.
Mister, you might be onto something.
See the all-new 1981 AMCs at your Metro Detroit AMC Jeep dealer.
2-2 tie now as the Wings come out with Dale McCord, John Ogrodnik, and Mike Polino. Don Barrett and Reed Larson back along the defense. Gustafson in against McCourt, wins the face-off, and Ribble lifts the puck high over the glass and up into the crowd. So the play stays right at center ice. We've played 2 minutes, 22 seconds of this, the third period. Gustafson has Gartner on one wing and Walter on the other. Puck came back to the Detroit line. John Barrett. His pass knocked away. Cleared into the Detroit zone. Barrett covered up on Gartner, and Reed Larson circles. Now Larson starts out carrying the mail. Here's Larson dumping it off to the side of the goal. Stevenson cleared it in behind his own net. Lambert up the left side for Ryan Walter. He was checked by Foligno. Now Barrett. Barrett played it beyond Foligno. It bounced back into the Detroit zone. John Barrett center ice to Ogrodnik. Now Ogrodnik hands it to Foligno. Mike Foligno back to Ogrodnik, but his return pass didn't get through. It's held in, then sent back out. And at his own blue line, Reed Larson played it too far. Went right to the net. Stevenson stopped that. Ribble in behind his goal. Ribble clearing it ahead. Now moving with it, here's Guy Chiron. Chiron fired that one, and Gilbert had to handle it carefully. And the play stays now on the Detroit end.
Guy Chiron playing a strong game for this Washington Capitol Hockey Club, right up through the middle, just across the blue line. He really unloads. He got all the wood. But Gilbert went to his hands and knees, made a fairly easy save of it.
Chiron didn't play a whole lot last year, if he played much at all, because of knee surgery. He was telling me he worked very hard during the summer in a rehabilitation program, he called it.
He has had their best chances tonight, Bruce. He's having trouble scoring goals, and he was a goal scorer.
There's a shot right from the face-off, and Gilbert has to grab that one. So the play stays still in the Detroit end. It was Errol Thompson on a power play, and then John Ogrodnik in the first period, and the Wings led 2-0 before the halfway mark of the first period. It looked like they were on their way to what would be a rather easy victory here, and Washington was not doing much of anything, but the Capitals came on, just controlled the second period. Gustafson and Walter scored, and we have a 2-2 tie. Now Jim Korn feeding it off to the right side for Willie Huber. Huber ahead to Dennis Polonich. He has Thompson moving, but Green broke up the pass. Right back to Chiron. Over the line offside was Mulvey. Crowd doesn't think so, but the linesmen do.
I wonder how often a crowd can affect a call of a linesman just by voicing their opinion like that. Sometimes the linesman maybe is caught a little out of position, and the crowd actually do call a play.
I've heard crowds call penalties on more than one occasion.
Yes, many a time.
Now it's Curtin with Hicks and Hamel. Curtin won the draw. Reed Larson. Larson's pass off the stick of Curtin. Turning with it, Marouk, driving it into the Detroit zone. Gilbert out of the net, played it away from Kelly. Wings didn't get it out, though. That's Marouk going into the corner along with Jean Hamel. Kelly given a bump along the boards by Barrett. Puck into the corner. Still the Capitals banging away at it in the Detroit zone. Wings still failing to work it out. Now Hicks fanned on it, but it'll be picked up by Barrett, and he starts Hamel out. John Hamel down the left side. Drives it into the corner. LeBray checked right there by Curtin. Now this is Kelly winding up deep in his own zone. Kelly went charging into Hamel, sent him flying. Right back, Reed Larson, bouncing shot, an easy save for Stevenson. Ribble played it along the boards. Hicks tried to hold it in, couldn't do it. It's cleared ahead, and here's Kelly. Kelly wound up for the shot that Larson deflected way up into the crowd behind the Detroit net. So the play back out at center ice. We've played 4.5 minutes now of the third period. Still game tied at 2-2.
The Wings have only had the one shot here in the first 4.5 minutes, but they are playing pretty well the way they started the first period. They are starting to forecheck and starting to move into Washington's zone, something that they didn't do in the second period. So I would think Wayne Maxner's message probably got to them.
Now Gustafson in against Dale McCord right at the Detroit blue line. McCord winning the draw, sent it deep into his own end, and Willie Huber has it. Huber being checked right there. That's Ryan Walter knocking it away. They struggle in the corner. Gustafson scores! Oh, they pulled it out of the corner. Sent it right out in front. That's that Ryan Walter again.
That's right. He just out-muscled players in the corner to get possession of the puck. Spotted Gustafson out about 20 feet, just out beyond the hash marks, number 16, and he gets rid of it. Britain gets it. And he beats Gilbert on the stick side, on the short side, I should say.
Big play by Walter in the corner. He just wanted it more than the Red Wings. Gardner also drew an assist on it. Time of the goal, 4 minutes, 41 seconds. Now Willie Huber starts back. Play off a skate at center ice. Here's Huber with it again. Willie Huber driving it in, but offside was Mike Foligno, and the play back out over the Washington blue line, and it's now 3-2. And it's been the one line, the three players who figured in the three Washington goals. Gustafson from Gardner and Walter, Walter from Gardner and Gustafson, and Gustafson from Walter and Gardner. And with a 3-2 score, Washington will be back in a moment.
It's a lonely kind of job, riding fences, but it's a job that's got to be done. So you get it done right. And then you head for the mountains. Push. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Push. Head for Busch beer. Head for the mountains.
Face off in the center ice zone. The linesman is warning Wes Jarvis, who was arguing about an offside call he had made. Now Ribble stopped at center ice by Errol Thompson. Thompson couldn't pull away from Ribble. Puck driven back into the Detroit zone by Edberg. Going into the corner after it, Reed Larson. He played it right out to Hangsleben, but Paul Wood stopped him. Barrett starts Dennis Polonich out. Here's Polonich trying to move by his check. Send it in behind the goal. Stevenson stops it there. Polonich goes into the corner with LeBray. LeBray knocks Polonich down. Woods got it loose. Now Woods. He and LeBray battle for it. Polonich gets into it. They scramble in the corner. Woods trying to center it. There's a shot by Thompson, and he drilled it wide. He was open. Reed Larson from the line with a shot, and Stevenson grabbed that. Dumped it off to the corner again. Wings with two pretty good chances. Puck held in by Barrett. Here's Barrett again, and there's going to be a penalty coming up now to Washington as LeBray touches it. The Wings, trailing by a goal, are going to have the extra man with a cross-checking penalty coming up to Washington.
Hangsland, I believe. No?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Alan Hangsland is getting the penalty for knocking Thompson down along the boards.
Time of the penalty, 5 minutes and 57 seconds. So the Wings have scored the only other power play they had tonight. And Hangsleben goes in for cross-checking at 5 minutes and 57 seconds. The Errol Thompson goal was a power play, the only other power play the Wings have had this evening.
And they need one right now. If they can take advantage, they're facing off deep in Washington's zone. If they can get the puck back to their point men.
Well, Ogrodnik did, handed it back to Larson. Now to Willie Huber with a shot, and he fired that 10 feet wide. Puck came right back to him, put it out in front. It's deflected right on the goal by McCourt, knocked away by Stevenson. In behind the goal, cleared up on the left side to Guy Charon. A bouncing puck, but bringing it out now. This is Walker. He's got Huber out in front of him. Howard Walker heading into the corner. Willie Huber pulled him down. Here's John Ogrodnik starting back. Minute and a half left in the penalty. Left side, Dale McCourt. McCourt goes in. McCourt laid it into the corner, going in after it. Larson fired it along the boards. Ogrodnik takes it. John Ogrodnik back to Willie Huber. Huber hands it back to Ogrodnik. He spots Reed Larson. Larson let the shot go, deflected away. Ogrodnik knocks it down again, plays it back to Huber at the blue line. Now back to Ogrodnik in the circle. Off the side of the net, Mike Foligno. Foligno turning away from Charon's check. He sets up Reed Larson with a shot. The save made, and they hit the post. There's a shot by Huber, and Charon deflected that up into the crowd. Well, the Wings power play has threatened.
Very good. They were moving the puck around perfectly. Finally, it come out through the goal crease, and Mike Foligno didn't get all of it. The play just come across the shot of Larson's, was off his pad. Now it comes right across off the post, and Mike Foligno was in just a little too deep. This shot that was taken by Huber was deflected well up in the crowd.
So the face-off, the rim of the circle, still in the Washington end. Mike Foligno skates over to talk to his coach, Wayne Maxner. 56 seconds left in the penalty to Washington's Hangsleben. Capitals have taken a 3-2 lead. McCourt won the draw. That's Willie Huber. Huber dishes it along the boards. John Ogrodnik into the corner now for Dale McCourt. Off to Ogrodnik. Ogrodnik checked immediately. McCourt trying to dig it away. It came back to Huber. Now to Reed Larson. Larson fired the shot, and he broke his stick. He kicked it to Dale McCourt. He's checked from behind. A good move by Gustafson. And the puck fired back to the Detroit line. Larson back for a new stick. Plays it there. Has trouble with it. Cleared it ahead to Dale McCourt. Back over the line. McCourt gives it now to Foligno, and he fanned on that shot. Checked by Ribble. And it's grabbed off by Stevenson, and the Wings are, I want to say, winding up with a long drive like a tee shot, and they're getting caught from behind.
They're just taking a little bit too much time. Mike Foligno winds up and didn't catch the puck at all, just bounced it into the goaltender. But they have kept the play in Washington's zone, Bruce, and have moved it around fairly well.
Tell you what, they've got 5 shots in goal, and I think all but one of them have come here in the power play.
Right.
Now Lyle moves out with Polonich and Thompson. Larson and Barrett back at the points. Thompson tried to get it back to the line. It's knocked away. Ribble cleared it to the blue line. Reed Larson held it in there. Polonich played it into the corner. Lyle handed it back to Polonich. Polonich faked the shot, centered it. It was knocked away. Lyle took a swing at it. Larson held it in. But his pass broken up by Rick Green. Green lost it out in front. Errol Thompson took the shot. I don't know what it hit, but it stayed out. Here's a chance for Barrett with a shot, and he fired it wide. Penalty to Hank Levin is over, and now a penalty coming up to Detroit, I believe, as the Washington player went down.
Well, everywhere but in on that last surge.
And Polonich is going to go off. And while the Washington power play gets ready, we'll pause for this message.
Detroit penalty. Could he be someone special?
I think she's kinda neat.
Maybe he likes me.
Maybe she likes me. Wonder if we'll meet.
It's so hard, but when the heart parts through, that's when we go for something easy, like A&W. Nothing so smooth and easy as A&W. Nothing so smooth as A&W.
For their power play, but now Polonich sits out a hooking penalty at 8:03. Washington has the extra man. Pronovo just tipped it out to center ice. Jim Korn shoots it back in. Gustafson. He's got 2 of the Washington 3 goals, assisted on the other. Now Gustafson starts out a right side pass to Pronovo. Over on the left wing, Dennis Marouk trying to work around Huber. He cleared it off to Kelly, and his shot was blocked by Jim Korn. Puck fired right back out in front, but off the boards to center ice, and Gustafson back after it, giving it now to Ribble. Pat Ribble dumping it into the Detroit end. Jim Korn being chased by Pronovo. Korn with that one hand didn't control it. Bob Kelly tips it away from him. Here's Kelly playing it in behind the net again. The opposite corner, Paul Woods bumping into Ribble. Korn got into it, the puck loose, and Woods picks it up, and Woods is tripped, and now there'll be a penalty coming up to Washington. And the teams will be even for the 55 seconds remaining in Polonich's penalty time.
Big Pat Ribble pulled Paul Woods down as Paul tried to break out over his own blue line. Pat Ribble was caught in a little too deep. He was playing the point, and he took a slash at him, pulled him down.
So the tripping call to Pat Ribble comes at 9 minutes and 8 seconds. 55 seconds remaining in Polonich's penalty. So both teams will be short a man, and then the Wings, unless there are further penalties, will have a man advantage for a little more than a minute. Puck carried into the Detroit zone by Walker. He's being checked right there by Reed Larson, dug away by Sharon. Right out in front, they score! Nobody picked up Verbegaard. Nobody at all.
This was a bad goal on all the players on the ice. They chased the man behind the net. Watch, there's Larson's in the corner with the man. Watch, there goes Barrett. There goes McCourt. 3 players behind the net. And there's Verbegaard all by himself. The only other player out in front of the net was Paul Woods, but he was out covering more or less the point man. Nobody there to pick up the man in the slot.
So Verbegaard scores from Sharon and Walker. And a big 4-2 lead now for Washington, but a lot of time left in the hockey game, 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
Assistant number 3, Howard Walker, at 9:20.
Vervegard with his 7th goal on the season, and Washington now, after trailing 2-0.
Barrett, there goes McCourt, 3 players behind the net. And there's Vervegard all by himself. The only other player out in front of the net was Paul Woods, but he was out covering more or less the point man. Nobody there to pick up the man in the slot.
So Vervegard scores from Sharon and Walker. And a big 4-2 lead now for Washington, but a lot of time left in the hockey game, 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
Assistant number 3, Howard Walker, at 9:20.
Vervegard with his 7th goal on the season, and Washington now, after trailing 2-0, lead at 4-2. The referee called over to the timers bench down below us. And well, they haven't taken any time off the penalties up there, Sid. They still show 2 minutes for Hangslev, or rather for Ribble, and Polonich with his 55 seconds.
That's no doubt what the talking is about. The clock is probably a malfunction down there in the timers area.
So the play will stay center ice zone after the goal scored by Vervegard to give Washington a 4-2 lead.
And the Wings have their work cut out for them now, Bruce. Down 2 goals to this hockey club at this stage of the hockey game.
Saturday night at 8, relive the highlights of one of America's favorite variety shows, The Best of Sullivan. It's a TV 50 special presentation. It's Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Dale McCord over to talk to his coach, Wayne Maxner, explaining the malfunction of the penalty clock. But the more important clock shows 10 minutes and 40 seconds still to play in the hockey game. Polonich will come out. When he does, Ribble will still have 1 minute and 5 seconds of his penalty time to serve. Detroit needs one in a hurry here to get back into this.
They sure do. They've got to take advantage of when Polonich gets on the ice, move in and see if they can get one back while Ribble is sitting in the penalty box.
So the delay in the hockey game is while they figure out, or maybe attempt to get the clock fixed, they can't be sure of which. For that special holiday meal or just a snack when family and friends gather, serve Peschke Great American Ham, the lean and firm one. Look for the red, white, and blue label at your nearby Great Scott supermarket. So we'll play, I guess, without a penalty clock right now.
I don't believe Nedomansky has been on the ice here in the 3rd period, Bruce.
Time remaining on the penalties for Detroit, 43 seconds. For the Capitals, 1 minute 48.
So the play now back into the Detroit zone. Gilbert hands it there to Jim Korn. Korn clears it ahead, and Dale McCourt starts out. Here's McCourt. His pass to the open wing. Danny LeBratton went digging after it, but it came back out center ice. Jim Korn. Korn shooting it along the boards. Stopped in behind the goal by Stevenson. Now that's Walker, number 3, playing it all the way back to the Detroit blue line. Back after it, Korn. Dale McCourt had trouble with it. Danny LeBratton goes after it, but they whistle it down on an offside. Face off out over the Detroit line. I am guessing about 10 seconds left in Polonich's penalty. When he gets out, there'll be a little more than a minute remaining in Ribble's.
10 seconds for Detroit, 1 minute 15.
Pretty good guess. Pretty good guess, Bruce. You don't have your earphones tuned into the fellow that's given the time, do you?
It's either that or you. Now from the face-off, here's Reed Larson. Larson sends it up on the right side and went right by Foligno. LeBray turns with it. Van LeBray. Clearing it back out center ice. That's going the length of the ice. Gilbert will play it. Now Detroit has the extra man. Polonich is on. So Detroit with the odd man. Mike Foligno turning at his own blue line. Foligno dropped it back just off the bench. John Ogrodnik plays it. Ogrodnik gives it back to Reed Larson. Center ice now to Huber. Wings of the extra man into the Washington zone. Ogrodnik. John Ogrodnik into the circle, turning with it, having trouble with it, and lost it. And back out at center ice. Mike Foligno being chased by Gartner.
30 seconds.
And it's knocked away from Foligno, goes all the way back into the Detroit end. A half a minute left in the Washington penalty as Reed Larson starts out. Left side pass to O'Grodny. Now Dale McCourt. McCourt put it right on the stick of Rick Green, and Green clears it all the way down the ice.
Remaining in the Capitals penalty.
Gilbert sent it up the right wing to find Mike Foligno. He drops it back for Larson. Just a few seconds left in the Washington penalty. Larson over the line. He held up, and McCourt went in. Offside.
No, and it hasn't been a very effective power play.
On the penalty.
With over a minute and Ribble sitting in the penalty box, the Wings have hardly crossed the Washington blue line. One man rushes, trying to stick Handel through, and bad passes coming up through center ice.
Play back out over the Washington line. We have Curtin, Hamel, and Hicks up front now. Just 4 or 5 seconds remaining in the penalty to Ribble. Curtin won the draw, bounced away from Barrett. Barrett quickly back after it. Korn left it there, back in as Pronovo trying to go through. He took a little dive, and the Wings clear it back into the Washington zone. There'll be an icing call this time as Green is back to get it, and the play back into the Detroit zone. John Pronovo has been one of the great divers in hockey through years. I imagine the officials are well aware of it. We'll be back with more of the action after we pause for this.
The roundup. It sounds like thunder and moves like lightning. And when it's over, you head for the mountains. Push. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Push.
Head for Bush beer.
Head for the mountain.
Head for...
Face off to the right of the Detroit goal. It's Washington 4, Detroit 2 after the Wings just swept everything out of the way and jumped out to a 2-0 lead early in the first period, but the Capitals have taken over, particularly in the second and now here in the third. Korn's pass bounced away from Errol Thompson. He was covered there by Ribble, and they'll hold it for a face-off, which stays in the Detroit zone. The Washington Capitals with 23 shots, Detroit with 14 in the hockey game. The Wings thus have had 6 shots here in the third period, and 4 of the 6, I believe, in that one power play.
I was going to mention John Pronovo, a brother of Marcel, that was the assistant to Ted Lindsay.
I hope,
terrific hockey player, too.
I hope Marcel doesn't take objection to what I said about John, but he has been known to...
Oh, yes, he causes he causes a lot of penalties to be called by...
He can exaggerate. Play carried back in offside into the Detroit zone by Pronovo, so...
And he can score goals for us, too. He's one of the real good hockey players. He's played many years. He's got 9 goals and 21 assists, 30 points in the first 29 games here for Washington.
So the play stays out over the Detroit blue line with Dale McCourt, Foligno and Ogrodnik back on, Larson and Huber. Nice signs, but I can't say I agree with all of them. Puck driven back into the Detroit zone. There is Gilbert. And behind his own goal, Willie Huber took a whack at it. It hit Foligno, and Foligno didn't control it. So Huber will try again. Again, it comes off to Foligno. This time he tips it ahead. Larson bangs it out to center ice. And the Wings a little disorganized in their own zone right now. And another offside as Washington stopping Detroit right at the Detroit line. They'll bring the face-off out to center ice.
Oh, what a night the line that's out here right now are having. Gartner, Walter, and Gustafson. That Gartner and Walter with their forecheck, and they're not giving the Wing defenseman a chance to really get set and make a play coming out of their zone. They're right on top of them when the play goes in deep.
Now the puck sent into the Detroit end with McCourt circling in behind Gilbert. Willie Huber took a whack at it, but Gartner will take the puck, fired it right to the goal mouth. Ogrodnik starts out with Foligno. 2-on-2, Ogrodnik and Foligno over the line. Foligno fired the shot, and it knocked the goaltender down. But he stopped it. Here's Larson giving it to Willie Huber with a shot, and that went wide. Out in front of the goal, the Red Wing player Ogrodnik is hauled down, and LeBray is going to pick up a penalty. And the Wings, trailing by 2, are again going to have the extra man, a holding call to Yvonne LeBray.
And this is exactly what the Wings have to do. They have to get in deep and make Washington either take penalties or... LeBray just hauls Foligno down. A good shot here by Huber, but The goaltender went right through. There's LeBray pulling at Foligno and finally right down on his back gets the penalty.
So Detroit now will have the extra man, and they need one here. They trail 4-2. Dale McCourt, they put Jim Korn up on the right wing on the line now. Zeno Grodnik to the bench. Huber and Reed Larson back at the blue line. Mike Foligno, the other forward, playing on the wrong wing. McCourt won the draw. Larson lost it, though. Look out. Here's Guy Chiron, 2-on-1 with Jarvis. The two of them over the line. And Chiron took the shot, and Gilbert made the big save, and now four of the wings head back. Led by Dale McCourt. McCourt moves in. Played it into the corner for Jim Korn. He sent it right to the goal mouth, and it's grabbed there by Stevenson, who holds on to it. Well, Gilbert again came up and made a fine save on Chiron.
Well, he had a chance to, Chiron had a chance to make a pass, but he elected to shoot. Huber played that real well. He stayed pretty well in between the two players. That's what the defensemen are taught. Make the defenseman or make the forward commit himself as to what he's going to do.
Now that's Jarvis, who just lifts it back to the Detroit line. Nedemansky out on a point now, goes back after it. Center ice to Mike Foligno. Foligno moves back into the Washington zone. Drops it back for Dale McCourt with his shot. He scores! And the goaltender Stevenson thought he had it. It just dropped out of his pads and fell over the line.
That went right through.
Power play goal.
Foligno made a little drop pass to McCourt, and he's shooting from about 25 feet. It goes right through Stevenson's pads and drops, as you mentioned, Bruce, in behind him and just rolls over the line. A little drop pass right there from well beyond the center. Stevenson thought he had that puck and just rolled over the line, and puts the Wings back in this hockey game at 4-3.
And with still 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Power play goal by Dale McCourt. At center ice, Beauregard was dumped, and the crowd screaming at referee Brian Lewis. 4-3 the score, and here's Washington moving out again. Into the Detroit zone. John Barrett took his man off the puck, and the Wings start back. Paul Woods' pass broken up by Mulvey. Dropped it back for Rick Green. Woods chasing him. Now it's Beauregard handing it back again to Green. Played into the Detroit zone. Out of the net, Gilbert. Played it off the glass. Beauregard knocked it down, swept it in behind the goal. They battle for it there. Mulvey has it. Paul Mulvey bringing it out. Pass knocked away by Larson, who takes Mulvey to the boards. And the Wings start out.
13-10. That's Detroit goal by number 10, Dale McCourt. Assist to 17, Mike Foligno.
Mike Foligno draws the only assist on the goal scored by Dale McCourt on the power play at 13-10. Now that's Gartner putting it right out in front. And the puck bounced off the goaltender Gilbert, who stayed in front of it. And the Wings shoot it down the ice. Back after it, Walker on the icing call against Detroit. And with the score now 4-3, Washington will be back in just a moment.
What's the pesky difference that makes the great American brand great? It's in every great American brand product. Deli fresh lunch meats, lean and firm hams, extra lean bacon, smoked sausage and spicy Polska kielbasa, and those bursting with flavor hot dogs. Pesky makes the quality difference you can taste.
Pesky makes the difference that makes great American great.
Pesky Great American brand products are perfect for all holiday entertaining, available at Great Scott supermarkets.
Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel, our producer Toby Cunningham from here at the Capitol Center in Washington. The Wings leading 2-0. Saw the lead evaporate. 2 goals by Washington in the second period, 2 more halfway through the first period. Now the Wings have scored and trail by 1, 4-3. Now here's Dale McCourt moving out, 1 man back. That's Ribble. Over the line, McCourt took a weak shot way wide. Puck will be taken off the boards and fired out center ice by Walder. And beating Korn to it, Gustafson carries in, took the shot, and Gilbert had to handle that one. That time, it was just hustle on the part of the Capitals.
Right. He just out-hustled the Detroit defenseman up through center ice. A great save by Gilbert. He comes out to cut down the angle, and it's a shot very similar to the shot that McCourt just took that dribbled through Stevenson's pads. Well, Joe held on to it to keep the Wings in the hockey game, losing 4-3.
So the face-off to the left of the Detroit goal. Time becomes important. 5 minutes, 17 seconds still to go. Paul Woods in against Maruk. A quick shot. Fired by Pronovo, knocked away out in front. Reed Larson dumps it out ahead. That's Polonich kicking away at it. Pronovo brings it back in. He was stopped. Reed Larson starts Woods out. Now Paul Woods. Up on the right side, Polonich trying to work around Kelly. Two of them go into the corner. Kelly came up with a puck, but here's Woods taking it away again. Woods handed it to Polonich. He tried to center it. They struggle in the corner, Polonich and Maruk. And the Capitals pick it up. Green clears it ahead, too far for Pronovo. Now Barrett, head to Hicks. Polonich over the line. Here's Polonich. He and Hicks. Hicks played it out in front, but Green clears it to Maruk. Dennis Maruk up the right side. Pronovo given a bump along the boards by Barrett. Paul Woods and Maruk battle in the corner. Kelly digs it away, and Kelly trying to play it to the point man, shoots it all the way back into his own zone. Now this is Rick Green. Green, a long pass ahead to Maruk. Korn tipped it away from him. Jim Korn had trouble with it, though, and it came right to the net, and a save by Gilbert. Coming right back, 3-on-2 the Wings. McCourt on the right side to Foligno, trying to go through and just failed to do it. Paul Mulvey and Foligno battle in along the boards in the corner, hold it for a face-off to the right of Stevenson in the Washington net. And now exactly 4 minutes to play.
Well, the clock is the important factor now. The Wings have got to try and force the issue, see if they can get a tie out of this. It's worse now.
By the way, should you require assistance with your vehicle after any Capital Center event, a tow truck will be located.
Face-off will be to the right of the Washington net. Dale McCourt spotting his people. Puck bouncing around in the circle. Ogrodnik tipped it into the corner. Jarvis went in after it. In behind the goal. It came out. There's a shot by Ogrodnik. He scores, and the game is tied at 4-4.
He threaded a needle with that one, just inside the post, right beyond Stevenson's glove. What a shot. A play from behind the net. John Ogrodnik standing just out at the edge of the circle, and the play comes right back out, and it was a Washington player that shot that puck. Dale McCourt forced the player, and he fed it back out, and John Ogrodnik had it in the net before Stevenson realized what was going on. His 15th of the year.
Second goal of the game. An unassisted goal for Ogrodnik, his 15th of the year at 16:09. So the Wings have fought back. Trailing 4-2, it's now tied at 4-4. And the shots and goal, you saw them, 26 and 17. And the time remaining, 3:45. Gilbert dumped it up on the left side. Now that's Barrett going in behind his own net. Up on the right side for Paul Woods. He scooped it out to center ice. E. Sharon. Pass knocked away. That's Toronto's Gustafson. That's Errol Thompson checked right there. Gartner held it in. Thompson checking him. Goes into the corner. Barrett circling in behind his own goal. Played it away from his check. It comes out to Paul Woods. Back to Barrett, who bounces it down the ice. Now Pat Ribble, number 2 of Washington, playing it into the corner. It comes up now to Gartner, taken away by Errol Thompson with a shot. He scores! And the Wings lead it now 5-4. And 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go. Do you believe this one? This is going right back to the game in Detroit.
Right. Wayne Stevenson wasn't set for this shot. Errol Thompson, the puck hit his skate. Errol didn't even know the play was coming to him, and he's shooting from 35 feet. Stevenson didn't come close to getting it. He put his leg and his arm out. The puck was just under his hand, inside the post. A bad goal by Stevenson, but a great shot by Thompson. And 2 quick goals here put the Wings on top.
2 unassisted goals. Ogrodnik at 16:09, and then 43 seconds later at 16:52, Errol Thompson. Now the play back of the Detroit net again. Into the corner after it. John Ogrodnik battling Pronovo. It came to the line. Rick Green with a shot. Gilbert grabs that right out in front of the net.
Boy, and that took a skip right out in front of him, and he was really quick. Talk about reflexes. This shot comes along and just takes a skip at the last moment. The Wings, this is no time now, but they've got to really pick up their men. Quick changes now by Wayne Maxner with only 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go.
The Wings led it 2-0 into the first period. Washington tied at 2-2 in the end of the second. Went ahead 4-2 halfway through the third period. Now the Wings have come back with 3 straight goals. Here again is Green at the blue line. His shot blocked. Off to the side of the net. Going in after it, Marouk. It's bouncing back to the blue line. Went right by the man, and digging after it is Curtin. Curtin pulled away from one check. Curtin dropped it off for Errol Thompson. Thompson had to turn around. He hit the glass with it, and it's Marouk taking it in behind his own goal. Now Dennis Marouk winding up. 2.5 minutes to play in the game. Here's Marouk over the line into the Detroit zone. He was stopped before he could get through by Willie Huber. Wings clear it to the line, but not out. Jim Korn took a whack at it. He didn't get it out, and here's Marouk in front with a shot, and Gilbert stopped that. And Korn goes in after it again, and again it's knocked away from him, but Errol Thompson dug it away, and Thompson bounces it out center ice. LeBray goes back after it, and this time the puck fired all the way down the ice. Gilbert hands it back to Korn. Jim Korn's pass taken now by Green. He shot it back into the Detroit end. A little less than 2 minutes to go. Gilbert playing it on the right side. Foligno didn't get it out. Here's Guy Chiron with it. Chiron put it right out in front, and it was knocked away. And Korn fires it back into the Washington end with Green back after it. Now 1 minute and 40 seconds left. And they wave off the icing. Back after it, Barrett. Barrett given a bump along the boards. It's dug away. Vervegaard put it out into the corner. Goes in after it himself. Mulvey. Paul Mulvey. Tied up along the boards by Dale McCourt. This is Chiron right out in front. And it's knocked away by Gilbert, and Foligno tips it to the line, but not out. Another shot, and Gilbert kicked that away. And Foligno wrapped it ahead, and here's Dale McCourt starting Ogrodnik out. Now John Ogrodnik took a long shot, an easy save for Stevenson. And we have 1 minute 5 to go. And this time there will be an icing call as the Wings go back after it, and Reed Larson touches it with exactly 59 seconds to go. And the Wings leading 5-4.
Who would believe, Bruce, that after being ahead 2-0, not doing a thing in the second period, then finally getting down 2 and then come back with 3 goals, and here they are within a minute, actually 59 seconds now, of possibly getting the first win of the season.
One of the teams, I believe the Red Wings, well, maybe they've called a timeout. Maybe, yes, they have. I guess it's Washington has called a timeout.
Timeout, Washington.
And to show you how hockey clubs can, or hockey fans can switch their way of watching a hockey game, someone fired a puck from center ice. Wayne Stephenson made a save, and they give him the cheers.
So it's 5-4, less than a minute to go. We'll be back in just that moment.
Trail boss on a cattle drive. You put in long days under the big sky, and when the work's over, you head for the mountains. Bush. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Brewed the natural way, so it's always as smooth as its name. Bush.
Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountain. Head for...
Well, the icing call was the last thing that Washington Capitals wanted, because it brings the play right back into their own zone with a face-off to the left of Wayne Stevenson. And 59 seconds remaining. If the Capitals can gain control and carry down the ice, then you can be well aware that Stevenson will be streaking over to the Washington bench for the extra attacker. Puck came back to Errol Thompson, but here are the Capitals picking it up. Shot it back into the Detroit zone. And it bounced loose. The goaltenders come out of the nets. Reed Larson played it to the blue line, but not out. Now Larson struggles in the corner with it. Tipped it in behind the goal to Barrett. It's dug away off the side of the net and cleared out center ice. No, evidently not. Green took a shot, and still it's Thompson, or rather Walters, with a shot that went wide. Now 30 seconds to go in the game, and still it's Washington struggling after it. And the puck's still not out. There's Gustafson with a shot, and Gilbert covers up, and the Wings getting control, don't get it out.
Oh boy, they had the puck 2 or 3 times and then just not putting enough on it to try and get it out. The puck bouncing around. Watch now, Errol Thompson reaches out, gets it a little play, but it bounces right back to a Washington player, and everything that goes on the net is dangerous at this stage of a hockey game.
Now the Red Wings, I believe, have called a timeout.
25 seconds to go.
Timeout for Detroit.
Well, the Wings fighting from behind, tie the game, go ahead, and we'll be back for the final 25 seconds after we pause now for this message.
Introducing a new era in crystalless scanners. The Regency R1040, our lowest price touch entry scanner. Lowest price.
This is Unit 5, in pursuit. Flames are everywhere up here.
A severe weather warning is now in effect.
Put 15,000.
25 seconds to go.
Timeout for Detroit.
Well, the Wings fighting from behind, tie the game, go ahead, and we'll be back for the final 25 seconds after we pause now for this message.
Introducing a new era in crystalless scanners. The Regency R1040, our lowest price touch entry scanner. Lowest price.
This is Unit 5, in pursuit. Flames are everywhere up here.
A severe weather warning is now in effect.
Put 15,000 public service frequencies at the tip of your finger with the R1040 from Regency.
Washington coach Gary Green up on the boards, getting a good view. He's got all 6 attackers well inside the Detroit blue line. His net is empty. But Washington has applied the pressure, and the Wings have not been able to move out of their own zone. 25 seconds left.
Wayne Maxner standing up on the bench, pointing and yelling at players. He's got their attention, too. He's dictating as to which player covers the respective Washington player.
Mark Curtin in to take an all-important face-off against Wayne Gartner. 25 seconds to go. The Wings lead by 1. Puck dribble right to Gilbert, and again he just grabs it on the short hop and holds on. And the play again stays in the Detroit zone, and they used up 3 seconds.
Paul Wood's going over to talk to Wayne to get instructions. Wayne has been yelling out to the players as to their assignment and coverage of players. After all, Washington had the extra player out there now, and they've got to be very alert as to who they're covering.
So again, the face-off to the left of Gilbert. Gartner in against the Detroit player Curtin. Puck came out in front. There's Green with a shot, knocked down. Willie Huber goes after it. Huber lifts it in the air, and that puck is bouncing down the ice. It will not go far enough for an icing, and that's a break for the Wings because there are but 7 seconds left. And Reed Larson dumped it into the Washington zone again. That'll eat up the rest of the time. And the Red Wings have almost unbelievably, after giving up a 2-goal lead, come back with some excellent goaltending on the part of Gilles Gilbert to win this hockey game by a score of 5-4 and pick up their first victory away from home this season, Sid Abel.
Isn't it nice to think now, Bruce, that the Wings have won 2 in a row, 2 big games, and now when we go on the road to televise the game, we have finally had a winner. It's been a long time coming, but maybe they'll come a little easier now.
Each team with 11 shots in the final period, and the Red Wings overall shots on goal 19 and Washington's 30. And so the Detroit Red Wings, after trying 16 times, pick up their first victory away from home, have a 4-point weekend, which is a very important thing after their victory 7-3 yesterday afternoon over the Chicago Blackhawks. And in their last 5 games have a winning record too, which is all important. The Red Wings with 3 wins and a tie and only 1 loss. So Detroit heading home, awaiting the appearance of the Edmonton Oilers. That'll be Tuesday night at the Joe Louis Arena with our broadcast time on WJR Radio at 7:25, and we invite you to be with us for our next telecast, January 3rd, when we'll be with you from Pittsburgh, the Penguins and the Red Wings. And this is Bruce Martin speaking for Sid Abel, hoping you've enjoyed the telecast of tonight's hockey game, inviting you to be with us the 3rd of January when the Red Wings and the Pittsburgh Penguins meet. Again, tonight's final score, Detroit Red Wings 5 and the Washington Capitals 4.
Red Wing Hockey. Tonight's game's been brought to you by Busch Beer. Remember, don't just reach for a beer. Head for the mountains. And by your Metro Detroit AMC Jeep Renault dealers, offering all-new 2-wheel, 4-wheel, and front-wheel drive cars for 1981. And by Peschke and the Peschke Great American Premium line of meat products.